Lipscomb Bison's baseball is on the air. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Doc Allen coming to you live from beautiful Ken Dugan Field at Stephen Lee Marsh Stadium on the campus of Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee, as we get set to bring you college baseball action between Jacksonville State University and the homestanding Lipscomb University. Game 3 of this conference opening weekend series. Jacksonville State having captured the first 2 games of the series, winning Friday afternoon by a score of 10-1 and capturing Saturday's game by a score of 6-4. The visiting Gamecocks from Jacksonville State enter today's contest with a season record of 6 wins and 10 losses. They're now 2-0 on ASUN conference play on the 2022 season, while the Bisons come in with a season record of 10 wins, 9 losses, 0-2 on ASUN conference play. And as we mentioned last time out, the Bisons dropped a 6-4 decision to the Gamecocks in a back-and-forth affair where Jacksonville State put up 6 runs in the 5th inning and held on for a 6-4 victory in Saturday's affair. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's game. First, for the visiting Gamecocks from Jacksonville State, leading off, senior second baseman number 3, Cole Frederick. Batting second, center fielder number 2, T.J. Reeves. Batting third, right fielder number 30, Carson Crow. Batting fourth, designated hitter today, number 13, Alex Carrignon. Batting fifth, first baseman number 23, Alex Strachan. Batting sixth, third baseman number 8, Brennan Norton. Batting seventh, catcher today, number 17, Brooks Bryan. Batting eighth, left fielder number 21, Mason Mainers. And batting ninth, shortstop number 6, Isaac Alexander. On the mound for Jacksonville State, season record of no wins, no losses, and an ERA of 3.72 will be sophomore right-hander number 19, Camden Loveridge. The head coach for Jacksonville State is Jim Case. He's in his 21st season. He's assisted by Evan Bush, Mike Murphy, and Kyle Cameron. And now the starting lineup for the homestanding Lipscomb Bisons. Leading off, right field, number 21, John Shields. Batting second, center field, number 19, Maddox Houghton. Batting third, designated hitter, number 35, Mason Lundgren. Batting fourth, first baseman, number 44, Malik Williams. Batting fifth, third baseman, number 30, Trace Wilhoit. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 13, Rudy Maxwell. Batting seventh, second baseman, number 23, Ethan Stamps. Batting eighth, doing the catching today, number 1, Chaz Bertolani. And batting ninth, shortstop, number 8, Caleb Ketchup. And getting the start on the mound today for Lipscomb will be the sophomore right-hander Ike Buxton, number 40. He comes in with a season record of 1 win, 1 loss, and an ERA of 3.32. The head coach for the Bisons is Jeff Forehand, who's in his 16th season as head coach at Lipscomb. He's assisted by pitching coach Matt Myers, hitting coach Ryan Price, Director of Baseball Operations Brian Ryman, Volunteer Assistant Will Hawks, Director of Player Development Adam Weiss, Director of Baseball Analytics Ryan Moretti, and Assistant Director of Baseball Operations Madeline Hoswell. Bison's head groundskeeper is Colby Rawls, and the head baseball athletic trainer is Clint Woods. Our umpires for today's game, Matthew Barrett will be behind home plate. Bob Howard will be at first base, and Stephen Hagan over at third base for today's game. Beautiful day at the ballpark. Bright sunshine, not a cloud in the sky, blue skies overhead, 62 degrees as we get set to play. And the wind today, not much of a factor after 2 very windy days, including an extremely windy day yesterday. Today the wind's blowing gently out of the west-southwest, 3 to 4 miles per hour, and so we don't expect to see nearly the impact on the game today that we saw yesterday with wind. So if you're in the area, please come on out to the ballpark. Good seats available, and it is Sunday Fun Day here at the ballpark, which means that all kids who are in the park and would like to participate can run the bases on the field after the game today. There's also a promotion for Junior Bison Club members. If you join the Junior Bison Club today, you get a free ticket, a free hot dog, a free popcorn, and also a chance to get out and run those bases. So come on out to the ballpark if you're close by. We're expecting another good ball game between these two teams as they wrap up the opening weekend series for both teams in ASUN conference play. Again, Jacksonville State brand new to the ASUN this year for this turn through. They've actually been part of the ASUN previously as they were up until 2003, I believe, and then have rejoined. But last time they were in the A-Sun. Lipscomb was not in the conference, so the Gamecocks are back new members as of 2021-22 season here. They were in the A-Sun previously from 1996 to 2004. And so they're making their first trip this weekend to Ken Dugan Field. Bisons have taken the field. We're going to step aside and allow you to enjoy with us our nation's national anthem. Our national anthem is in the books, courtesy of Miss Ava Hurst. Did a lovely rendition. And we're going to get set to play baseball here. Taking the mound for the Bisons, again, sophomore right-hander Ike Buxton. Be the fifth start of the season for Buxton. He comes in with a record of 1 win, 1 loss, an ERA of 3.32. He's started all 4 games he's appeared in. He's worked a total of 19 innings, given up 18 hits, 9 runs, 7 earned. He's walked 9 and struck out 18. Opponents batting .257 against Buxton on the season. And last Sunday, started the first game at Georgia, went 4 1/3 innings, giving up 8 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, walked 4, and struck out 7. Did not get a decision in that game. Actually, correction, was charged with a loss in that game. So Buxton on the mound for the Bisons today. And we spoke with Coach Forehand before the game. We're having a little bit of technical problems showing you that interview, but if we get a chance, we'll play it. But we asked him about Ike's development as a pitcher, and he's mentioned the experience level that he came in last year with electric stuff, just did not have a lot of experience on the mound, and now with the season under his belt, he seems much more confident, has much more of a plan, has been pitching obviously with that electric fastball, which he runs up there in the mid-90s, but also has an outstanding changeup and can throw a slider as well. So Buxton will be on the hill today to face this Jacksonville State club, which will send 2 left-handers up against him. And Jacksonville State has been productive at the plate this weekend. They had 13 hits in Friday's game, 9 hits in Saturday's game, and a lot of timely hitting with runners in scoring position on both days. Friday's game, saw Jacksonville State put up 5 runs in the second inning of that game and hold on as they added 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, and 2 in the 9th, and pulled away for a 10-1 victory. Saturday's game, the Bisons jumped out at a 2-0 lead in the first inning. They added 1 in the 4th to go up 3-0. But again, Jacksonville State put up a 6-run 5th inning, aided by 4 walks from the Bisons pitching staff, and they held on to that, limiting the Bisons to 1 run through the 5th through 9th innings, and they escaped with a 6-4 victory. So we're looking for a good ball game between these 2 clubs today. Again, Jacksonville State with a very tough early season schedule. And so we've seen them play at a very high level this weekend in all phases of the game. Leading off today will be Cole Frederick, second baseman. He's batting .300 on the season, 2 homers and 10 RBIs. He had a terrific day yesterday, going 3 for 4 and scoring a run. He's 4 for 8 on the weekend, and Buxton starts him off with a fastball, and first pitch swinging, he fouls it off. Defensively for the Bisons, Maxwell is in left, Houghton in center, Shields in right, Will Hoyt at third, Ketchup at short, Stamps at second, Williams at first, and Chaz Bertolani behind the plate. And Ike Buxton gets set to bring the 0-1, and that'll bounce up there, 1 ball and 1 strike. Frederick, a senior, 6 foot tall, 185 pounds. He's out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And he swings through a fastball there. It'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes. One of the things we've noticed about these Gamecocks hitters, they are aggressive, particularly early in the counts and particularly on fastballs. In both games, they've come up swinging early in the count, putting balls in play with a very aggressive approach. Here comes the 1-2, swings and hits a fastball foul and off to the right side. The count will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reeves and Crow to follow here in the top of the first for the Gamecocks. Comes the 1-2, misses way outside with a slider there, and it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes for Cole Frederick. Some of the development of Ike Buxton this year, we've seen him, again, throw with a lot better control than he showed last year as a freshman. Likes to work quickly. 2-2 is bounced foul. It's going to get down the third base line. It'll be picked up by Trace Will Hoyt. But Buxton has that electric fastball that, as we said, he can run up there in the mid-90s, but when he combines that with his changeup and can throw that in the zone, he can make it very tough on these right-handed hitters. So count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes on Frederick. Frederick, part of the middle infield combination of 2 seniors, Alexander at shortstop. They played a lot of baseball for this team and played very well this weekend. He swings and hits this on the ground towards Stamps at second. He's going to glove it and throw on to first for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up T.J. Reeves. Reeves has been red hot this weekend. He comes in batting .377. 3 homers and 18 RBIs. In Friday's game, he was 2 for 4 with a couple of RBIs. That included a double. And then in Saturday's game, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. So he has been seeing it well this weekend. He looks at a ball downstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Reeves is transfer from Alabama. 5'10", 205-pound junior. He swings and hits this one into right field for a base hit right down the line. Shields is going to come over and cut it off. He's going to make a big turnaround first, but he'll hold there. So T.J. Reeves stays red hot. He's got the first hit of the day for the Gamecocks, and he'll be aboard at first with 1 out, and that'll bring up Carson Crow, the right fielder. Crow batting just .185 on the season, 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. 1 for 7 on the weekend so far. He was 0 for 2 yesterday. Did score a run after reaching via a walk. So Crow bats with 1 out, the bases, or man on first rather. Reeves is 4 for 7 on the season for stolen bases. The Bisons did throw him out in Friday's game on a steal attempt. Buxton starts him off with a fastball that he'll swing and foul back, 0-1. Got a shift on, as you see. Lots of shifting going on with the Bisons against these Gamecock hitters. The shortstop Ketchup almost straight up the middle. A step or so to the third base side of second. Stamps pulled over in the hole between first and second, and the first baseman Williams holding the runner on. So Will Hoyt really guarding the left side of the infield almost by himself here. Here comes the 0-1. That's a changeup, it looks like, downstairs. It'll be a ball and a strike. Again, as a team, the Gamecocks not heavy on the stolen bases, 14 out of 18 on the season. But Reeves is one of those guys who will steal, and they throw back to first, and they're going to throw it away. It's going to get past Williams. Reeves is going to get to second. He's going to make a turn there, and he's going to hold up. So that one bounced over there. Malik Williams wasn't able to get it. That'll go down as an error. And it'll be the first error of the day for the Bisons. They played errorless baseball yesterday, although they committed 3 errors on Friday's game. So the count's 1 ball, 1 strike on Carson Crow, and T.J. Reeves now out at second base in scoring position. Ketchup will drift a step or 2 over towards the hole to keep him honest there. Fastball misses high, 2 balls and 1 strike. So 2 balls, 1 strike. Carrignon waits on deck. Overall, a veteran lineup, just 1 freshman in the lineup, otherwise juniors and seniors. Actually 1 sophomore as well, but guys who played a lot of baseball. That like the changeup there, and he swung through it, 2 balls, 2 strikes. So that changeup was moving away, running to the arm side of Buxton, and again, a very effective pitch when he can throw it in the zone. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, runner at second base. We're playing in the top of the first inning. No score between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb. The 2-2. Swings through a high fastball, strike 3. First strikeout of the day for Buxton. And Crow is retired, and that'll bring up Alex Carrignon. He's doing the designated hitting today. He caught the first 2 games of the series. Batting 171 on the season, 1 home run, 5 RBIs. And he is 1 for 8 on the weekend so far, with that base hit coming in Friday's game. It was a double. So he bats with 2 outs and a runner at second, and that's a fastball that'll stay high, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Carrignon. He is a senior out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Previously played at Columbia State Community College, 6'2", 215-pound youngster. I'm sure he's got some family here. He swings and taps that one foul, and that'll even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Did a good job behind the plate both days for Jacksonville State. Again, Jacksonville State got a terrific start from Isaiah Magwood on Friday. Went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, just 1 earned run, walking 2, striking out 7. And then terrific relief pitching yesterday as 3 hurlers combined to keep the Bisons off the board. That's a fastball high. It'll be 2-1. The last 7 outs gotten by freshman A.J. Causey, who had 2 strikeouts and was very, very effective, retiring all 7 hitters that he saw for the Bisons. Here comes the 2-1 pitch to Carrignon. Instead, they're going to do the inside move to second. Reeves is going to jog back over. Again, a bit of a shift on here as Stamps, the second baseman, has shifted over towards the bag, so he'll keep the runner honest. Catch up in a fairly normal position for the shortstop here. Here comes the 2-1. Swung on through the changeup there, 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second, T.J. Reeves. He's there via the base hit and then advancing over on a errant pickoff throw. Buxton, a chance to get out of the inning without any damage here. Here comes his 2-2 pitch. That's a fastball that'll miss low and away. That'll run the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with Alex Strachan waiting on deck. Opening weekend of ASUN Conference play between these 2 teams. Again, Jacksonville State new to the ASUN this year, playing on the road for their first series and already having clinched a series win. And the 3-2 swung on and hit in the air towards right field. Shields is drifting over. It's in foul territory. Still going over, and can't quite make the catch. It drops just out of reach. So Shields had him shaded a bit towards center field, had a long run, and it just fell beyond his glove. And so Carrignon will stay alive with a 3-ball, 2-strike count. We mentioned Jacksonville State playing a tough early season schedule. They opened with 3 games with Kentucky at home. Then they went on the road to play 1 at Alabama and 3 at Southern Miss. So 7 tough games. Came out of that with a record of 1-6, but played several close ball games. And you can see the skill level on this team. They played very well this weekend. And expect them to play well. They were picked 4th overall in the ASUN Conference preseason poll, and you can see why. Here's the payoff pitch, and he got him on a changeup. Swing and a miss. So second strikeout of the inning for Buxton. And nothing doing for the Gamecocks as they don't score. They did have 1 hit, and they left 1 runner on base. So we head to the bottom half of the first inning. No score between Lipscomb and Jacksonville State. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the first inning, and out on the mound for the Gamecocks, the sophomore right-hander Camden Lovrich. Lovrich is a 6-foot-tall, 175-pound sophomore out of Pike Road, Alabama. Played at Trinity Presbyterian High School. On the season, he comes in with no record. He started 4 games. He's pitched 19 and a third innings, given up 19 hits, 9 runs, 8 earned, 7 walks, 10 strikeouts, opposing batters batting .268 against him, so 0-0 record and an ERA of 3.72. John Shields will lead things off for the Bisons. He comes in batting .306, and he'll look at a fastball that'll stay downstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Again, Lovrich has started 4 previous games. Last Sunday against South Alabama, went 5 innings, gave up 8 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, as Shields hits that on the ground to second base, and Frederick's going to glove, and he'll throw on to first for the first out of the inning. So 5 innings worked last Sunday. 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts for Camden Lovrich. And 5 innings has been his longest outing of the season. He opened against Kentucky on February 20th, pitched 5 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. So he's pitched effectively in some big situations. Maddox Houghton stands in there. Maddox .323 on the season, and he swings through a fastball there, 0-1. Maddox has had an excellent weekend. He went 2 for 4 in Friday's game with a couple of doubles, and then yesterday also went 2 for 4 and hit his second home run of the season. So he's 4 for 8 on the weekend. That's a slider that's going to stay outside, and it'll even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. So good to see Maddox back swinging the bat well, as we said, up to .323 on the season, 2 home runs and 11 RBIs for the senior center fielder for the Bisons. And he swings and hits this a mile high, and it's going to get foul, and so that'll stay, or rather make the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Defensively for the Gamecocks, Mainers in left, Reeves in center, Crow in right, Norton at third, Alexander at short, Frederick at second, Strachan at first, Bryan behind the plate today, and Camden Lovrich on the mound. He's working from the stretch, even with the bases empty, and here comes the 1-2. Swung on and hit in the air towards right center field. Reeves is drifting over, but he's called off by Crow, and Crow will glove it for the second out of the inning. So that'll bring up Mason Lundgren. Lundgren leading the Bisons with a .375 average, no homers and 14 RBIs. He's 2 for 7 on the weekend. Did have an RBI in yesterday's game. And he'll bat now with 2 outs and the bases empty in the bottom of the first inning. No score between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb, just underway here at Lipscomb's campus at Ken Dugan Field. That's a fastball through there for a strike. We invite you, if you're in the area, to come on out and join us. Beautiful Sunday afternoon at the ballpark. And some great college baseball between these 2 teams. Here comes the 0-1. That's a slider that'll stay outside. It'll be 1 ball and 1 strike. Malik Williams waits on deck if Lundgren can extend this inning. Slider's going to get in there this time, and it'll be 1 ball, 2 strikes. Great looking pitch there. Looks so far that Loverich's working fastball slider mostly. So we've got Lundgren in a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Lundgren's had a couple of 2 strike base hits this weekend. Here comes the 1-2. Swung on and hit down the left field line, just foul. Just got outside the line there. It was a fastball away, and he stayed with it. A good piece of hitting there from Mason Lundgren. The third baseman Norton was off the line. Would not have had a shot at that one. So Lundgren stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's a slider, strike 3. Great pitch. He froze him there. So first strikeout of the day for Camden Lovrich, and nothing doing for the Bisons as they go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. We played 1 full inning, no score between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the top of the second inning, 5, 6, and 7. Strachan, Norton, and Bryan out to face Ike Buxton, who had a solid first inning, gave up one base hit, and then followed that with 2 straight swinging strikeouts. And Strachan will stand in there, coming in batting .215 on the season, 3 homers and 14 RBIs. That does tie for the club lead in home runs. He's 2 for 8 on the weekend as Strachan so far, as he started and played both games. And that fastball will miss outside and low, ball 1. So again, opening weekend of conference play for all ASUN teams, everyone playing their first action. That's a fastball through there for a strike. ASUN divided into 2 divisions this year, the East and the West. And there's no interdivisional play during the regular season. Everyone plays 2 series home and away against opponents inside their division. That misses downstairs and low. So on the east side, Florida Gulf Coast and Kennesaw State are both 2-0. Florida Gulf Coast has won both games with Stetson, and Kennesaw State has won both games at Jacksonville. That's a fastball that'll catch the outside corner, and the count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Liberty now 1-1. They've split with North Florida this weekend. North Florida 1-1, obviously, and Stetson and Jacksonville at 0-2, and that's your East Division standings. That one just missed low with a fastball there, so Strachan has worked the count full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Overall on the east side, Florida Gulf Coast 15-4, Kennesaw State 11-6, Liberty 13-4, and that'll miss low, and he draws a walk. North Florida 7-12, Stetson 12-7, and Jacksonville 11-7. So all the teams with a winning record except for North Florida, and that's how things look after your opening weekend of play on the East Division. Strachan will be aboard. He doesn't have a stolen base attempt all season, and that'll bring up Brennan Norton. Comes in batting .279. He's had a solid weekend. He was 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs on Friday's game. And he swings through the changeup there, 0-1. And then in yesterday's game, he was 2 for 5. So 5 for 8 on the weekend. He is seeing the ball very well. Buxton gets set to bring the 0-1. It's a fastball, and it's on the outside corner. It's 0-2. So Buxton likes to work quickly. You'll see a high tempo from him. Coming right at these Gamecocks hitters who we mentioned have been very aggressive at the plate. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swing on and hit toward third. Wilhoit's going to gloves. Throw to second for 1. Stamps over to first and got him just in time. So nice turn there. The ball wasn't hit super sharply, but Wilhoit gloved it, threw over to Stamps, who got it and turned it over to first, and they erase the walk just like that. So 2 outs and bases empty for Brooks Bryan. Bryan seeing his first action of the weekend at catcher today as Carrignon caught the first 2 games. He's batting .273 on the season. No homers, 2 RBIs. Only had 22 at-bats so far on the season. He'll take a fastball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. So Brooks Bryan, a junior out of St. Mary's, Georgia, 6'1", 197-pounder at the catcher today. Fastball's going to be in there for a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rarely see a catcher who'll catch all 3 games in a weekend series. That's just a physically demanding job, even in the best of circumstances. That's a base hit into left field. He hits it over the head of Ketchup. And so Brooks Bryan will have himself a base hit. It'll be the second hit of the day for the Gamecocks. And with 2 outs and a runner at first, Mason Mainers will come up. Mainers played in Friday's game and was 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Did not play in Saturday's game. And he is one of 2 left-handed batters in the lineup today for Coach Case. So comes in batting .250, no homers and 4 RBIs. So Mainers bats with 2 outs and a runner at first. Bryan with no stolen base attempts on the season and not much of a lead over there. And that's swung on and hit high in the air, and that's going to be out of play. Like a fastball that he was late on, so no balls and 1 strike. Mainers made a terrific diving catch in the left center field gap to preserve and rob an extra base hit in Friday's game, and then he nearly made an identical catch going to the left field line on a ball that Maddox Houghton hit. Fastball's going to miss inside, and it'll be 1 ball and 1 strike. So Mainers showing excellent defense out in left field, and as we mentioned, 3 base hits in Friday's game, and he's back in there today. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Bryan, your runner at first, top of the second. No score between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb. That's a fastball that'll miss outside, and it'll be 2 balls and 1 strike. Shortstop Alexander waits on deck. He's the 9th man in the order. If Mainers can extend the inning here. The 2-1 swings through the changeup there. Got a piece of it. And looks like Bertolani might have got a piece of that as well off his hand there. He comes up shaking it, and he's grabbing that right throwing hand there. And always tough for those catchers. They certainly get a lot of punishment back there. So we're going to have a little break in the action. Coach Forehand and the trainer, Clint Woods, will come out to take a look at Bertolani. Looks like they're, again, looking at the throwing hand where he caught that ball off as it fouled off at the plate. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. While there's a pause in the action, we'll tell you about the West Division of the A-Sun. On the weekend, Eastern Kentucky has won 2 games at North Alabama, so they sit at 2-0. Jacksonville State obviously has won both games here against Lipscomb. They're also 2-0. Central Arkansas has split with Bellarmine, so both teams are 1-1, and Lipscomb and North Alabama both 0-2 on the season. So those are your West Division standings. Overall, Eastern Kentucky 13-7, Jacksonville State 6-10, Central Arkansas 6-11. Bellarmine 3-16, Lipscomb 10-9, and North Alabama 5-12. Looks like Bertolani's going to shake it off and stay in the game. So the situation is 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Mainers is batting, and Bryan on at first after a base hit. And Buxton gets set to deliver. That's a changeup that'll miss just outside, and it'll be 3 balls and 2 strikes. So 3-2. Runner will be going from first with 2 outs here. As we mentioned, Bryan no steals on the season. He's a catcher, and we don't want to make too many stereotypical remarks about that, but you often don't think of blazing speed being associated with that particular position. Here comes the payoff. He is running, and he fouls it back. So the count will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. Good to see Chaz Bertolani able to shake that foul tip off. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. And we'll get set to have another payoff pitch from Ike Buxton. Swung on and fouled at the plate. Mainers extends the at-bat again. So good job by Mainers. He's fouled off 3 pitches in a row to stay alive. And also extend the inning a little bit on Buxton here. He's up to 33 pitches here in the 2nd inning. Here's the payoff. Swings through the changeup, strike 3. Beauty there. And again, some of the progression you've seen from Ike Buxton, that changeup pitch is something he's come to rely on and throw very effectively. So no runs. There was 1 hit. There was 1 man stranded. The Gamecocks have stranded 2 in 2 innings. And we head to the home half of the 2nd. No score between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. To the bottom half of the 2nd inning we go. It's Malik Williams, Trace Wilhoit, and Rudy Maxwell who will be due up against right-hander Camden Loveridge. Loveridge with a very effective 1st inning, tying the Bisons 1-2-3 with a strikeout. And Malik Williams will try to get things started. Malik sees his average up to 370, 4 homers and 23 RBIs. 3 for 7 on the weekend. He was 2 for 4 yesterday. And he looks at a strike through there, 0-1. Saw a lot of breaking balls throughout the weekend to Malik Williams. Again, known as an excellent fastball hitter, and so we'll see how the Gamecocks elect to pitch him today. Here's the 0-1. Again, that one misses high, like a fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. little bit of a shift on. Shortstop Alexander is pulled over just a little bit towards the hole, but otherwise a fairly traditional defensive alignment here. And the 1-1 is through there for strike two. So 1 ball, 2 strikes on Malik Williams. Bison's senior first baseman is off to a hot start this season. Again, 4 home runs and 23 RBIs. Both of those totals lead the club. And he swings and fouls that one back to the screen. The count will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes on Malik Williams. Williams' last home run came back on March the 9th at Austin Peay, so he's about due, as we would say, and he swings and hits that one towards the shortstop, and it's going to get under the glove of Alexander. So that was an off-speed pitch, and Williams just stayed with it. Good piece of hitting there. And Malik Williams will be aboard with another base hit as Alexander again shaded over a little bit towards the hole, and he just couldn't quite get there to get a glove on that one. So that'll be the first Bison's hit of the day. And that'll bring up third baseman Trace Wilhoit. Wilhoit comes in batting .264, 3 homers and 11 RBIs, and one of those home runs was in yesterday's game, as he hit a solo shot in activity yesterday. It's his only hit of the weekend. He's 1 for 8, but it was a memorable one for Trace Wilhoit. So Wilhoit batting, Williams at first. That's a slider that's in there for strike 1. Malik Williams is 1 for 2 on the season in stolen bases, so we have seen them turn the big fella loose. He's out there with nobody out in the bottom of the 2nd inning and no score between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb. Swings and hits the fastball back to the screen, and Loveridge has gotten ahead of Wilhoit 0-2. So you got to like the way that Loveridge is attacking the strike zone, and that's something we've really seen from these Gamecocks pitchers all weekend. They walked 2 on Friday and 1 in Saturday's game, and so that is a very rare performance in today's college baseball, as walks are often tolerated, but this staff has done a great job commanding the strike zone. That's just off the plate. Terrific location for that fastball. He did not offer 1 ball, 2 strikes. So again, tip your hat to Coach Case and his entire staff, because clearly his pitchers have done a terrific job staying in the strike zone. As I said, you almost never see those types of numbers in today's college baseball. He swings and hits this one on the ground to short. Alexander's going to flip to second for 1 and on to first, and it looks like Strachan was able to keep his foot on the bag, and so that will be a 6-4-3 double play as the Gamecocks continue to show good defense. Again, Alexander and Frederick, very, very experienced players out there in the middle of the infield. And they continue to show excellent defense. This middle infield combination has played 381 games for the Gamecocks. Both of them are in the top 30 in all-time games played in Division I baseball. Rudy Maxwell looks at a strike through there. Rudy coming in batting .312, 3 homers and 18 RBIs. Still looking for his first hit on the weekend. He's 0 for 8 so far, so Rudy is overdue to get things going. He swings and hits this one into left field. There's his first base hit of the weekend. Sat on that breaking pitch, drove it into left field, so good piece of hitting there. It'll be the 2nd hit of the inning, 2nd hit of the day for the Bisons. And the Bisons will have a runner on at first with 2 outs, and Ethan Stamps will be up. Stamps comes in batting .304, 2 home runs and 8 RBIs on the season. 2 for 8 on the weekend. Both of those hits came in yesterday's game. But Stamps had himself a day last Sunday over at Georgia. He batted .500 for the entire weekend, but he had a pair of home runs against the Bulldogs last Sunday. So hopefully Ethan Stamps and Sundays will continue to agree with each other here. He really put on a show last Sunday in Athens, and he looks at a slider on the outside corner. Strike 1. So Loveridge doing a great job getting ahead of these hitters, throwing strikes early in the count, tilting the count in his advantage, and you can see why he's been very effective so far this season for the Gamecocks. Swung on and hit down the first base line and foul. That was a fastball that got in on his hands, and he just fought it off. So he's down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Maxwell, your runner at first. He is 1 for 1 on stolen bases on the season. And as a team, the Bisons are 31 out of 39 on the season. So they've run quite a bit for their 19 games so far, with 39 steals on the season. We'll see if they elect to put Maxwell in motion. It's a no ball, 2 strike count, 2 outs here. He's not running, and that's a slider that'll miss down. Brian will keep it in front of him, and it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Stamps last Sunday at Georgia was 4 for 8 overall, had 4 RBIs, had the 2 home runs. And again, just had a terrific weekend against the Bulldogs. Going 6 for 12 overall. Throw goes to first, and he's back. Stamps a 5'10 sophomore out of Madison, Georgia. Started 22 games last year as a freshman. Batted .259, no homers and 6 RBI. So those 2 homers last Sunday were his first 2 career home runs as a Bison. And the 1-2, that'll also bounce up there. And again, Bryant bounces out to keep it in front of him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jazz Bertolani waits on deck. If Stamps can extend the inning here, we're playing in the bottom of the second. We have no score between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb. Third game of a 3-game series. The Gamecocks having taken the first 2 games on Friday and Saturday. So the Bison's fighting hard to get one out of this weekend. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Stamps. Fastball misses outside, and he has worked a full count. And that is the first 3-ball count of the day for Loveridge, who's really been filling up the zone. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at first, and first baseman Strachan will now play behind him as we expect to see him in motion. Swings and hits this foul like a slider that he fought off, and the count will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. Loveridge just 22 pitches to get through the first inning and 2/3. This is the 7th man he's faced. He did give up the leadoff base hit this inning, but then got the double play ground ball. So Loveridge is sailing right along here and doing another good job. We mentioned he's gone almost 5 innings in each of his starts. Had 1 start of 4 1/3. Otherwise, all 3 have been 5 innings. And Stamps just gets a piece of that slider at the plate. 3-2. We mentioned the 5-inning outing against Kentucky. He went 5 innings at Southern Miss, gave up 3 earned runs, 5 hits. Then 4 1/3 against Siena. Only gave up 2 hits, but had 4 walks that day and ended up giving up 3 runs, 3 of which were earned. And then the start against South Alabama last Sunday, 5 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swung on and hit towards the shortstop. Alexander's going to glove it. He drops it, picks it up, long throw to first, and that's going to sail over the head of Strachan. That's going to allow the runner to advance to third. They're going to throw to second, and coming all the way home to score is Rudy Maxwell. So, interestingly enough, when Strachan picked that ball up, he decided to throw to second because Stamps had rounded it. And Maxwell never slowed down rounding third and comes around to score the first Bison's run of the day, and they take a 1-0 lead. So I believe they'll score that as a base hit for Stamps. Indeed, they will. So it's going to be a base hit, and then he's going to advance to second on the throwing error. So that'll be 3 hits in the inning for the Bisons, and the first error of the day for the Gamecocks. They've only committed 1 error throughout the first 2 games of this series. So Stamps will be out at second base with 2 outs, and Chaz Bertolani will be hitting. Bertolani off to a slow start at the plate, batting .189, no homers, 4 RBIs. He played in Friday's game. Did not play in yesterday's game, as Maxwell has been doing the catching on Saturdays. And he starts him off with a slider on the outside corner, 0-1. So Alexander was able to glove that ball. He dropped it once, picked it up, threw to first, but threw it over the head of Strachan. Again, Stamps turned and went to second to draw a throw, and he beat that throw, but Maxwell never slowed down, running all the way from first and scoring as he was running on the 3-2 pitch. Bertolani hits that in the air on the right side. That's going to make the bullpen area, and so that'll make the count no balls and 2 strikes on Chaz Bertolani. So good base running there by Maxwell, again, scoring all the way from first base, running with a pitch, rounded second, and then when he saw the overthrow, he never slowed up. I think if they'd thrown home, they probably had a pretty good play on him, but throw went to second. And so that allowed the Bisons to push across the first run of the day. And they've led in all 3 games, or both games so far, but haven't been able to hold on to that lead. So here comes the 0-2 to Bertolani. Fastball will miss high. It'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes. In Friday's game, the Bison scored 1 in the first inning, but Jacksonville State turned right around and put up 5 in the second and never trailed after that. Yesterday's game, Lipscomb scored 2 in the bottom of the first, another one in the fourth, but then gave up a 6th spot in the 5th and ended up losing 6-4. Here comes the 1-2 to Bertolani. Slider tapped towards third. Norton's going to glove it. He's going to throw on to first, and that'll be the 3rd out of the inning. But the Bisons get on the board. They score 1 run on 3 base hits. There was 1 error, and they did leave 1 runner on base. So at the end of 2 innings, your score, Lipscomb 1 and Jacksonville State 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the top half of the third inning. Ike Buxton back out on the mound for the Bisons. He's allowed 2 hits so far, but no runs, and he'll face 9, 1, and 2 in the Jacksonville State order. Starts with a shortstop, senior Isaac Alexander, batting .226, no homers and 8 RBIs on the season. And Alexander 2 for 9 on the weekend. He looks at a ball downstairs, 1 ball and no strikes on Isaac Alexander. So we mentioned that Alexander and Frederick, both in the top 30 in D1 baseball history, files that one away. As far as games played, Alexander's played 188 games now. Frederick played 197. And he swings and hits this one past the diving Will Hoyt at third, and he'll have his base hit here. That'll be the 3rd base hit of the day for the Gamecocks. So good piece of hitting there by Alexander. Sat on that fastball and drove it out into left field. And so the Gamecocks have their leadoff hitter on board for the 3rd inning, and that'll be the top of the order. And Cole Frederick. Frederick grounded out to second base back in the top of the 1st inning. And as that ball got away, it allowed Alexander to hustle on a hustle play and get all the way to second base. So Frederick now batting with Alexander out at second base. Again, Frederick grounded out back in the 1st inning. We'll see how the Gamecocks elect to play it. He's not showing bunt. Takes a slider outside, 1 ball, no strike. So Ike Buxton out of Boise, Idaho, 6'3", 208-pounder. Rather had to catch him, Idaho. He went to Boise State 2019, redshirted, and then Boise State shut their program down after the 2020 season. He had appeared in 4 games out of the bullpen that season. That's going to miss outside as well, 2 balls, no strikes. So he transferred to Lipscomb. Last year he played in 18 games, started 10 on the mound, ended up throwing 48 2/3 innings with 35 strikeouts, 25 walks. So he's a redshirt sophomore, and that's going to miss inside, and it's 3 balls and no strikes on Frederick. So first base open here. We'll see how Coach K selects to play it if he turns Frederick loose. The very hot hitting TJ Reeves is on deck, but Frederick comes in batting .300. And that's going to miss outside and low. So he has a base on balls. That'll be the 2nd walk of the day for Buxton, and that'll put runners at 1st and 2nd for TJ Reeves. Reeves with a base hit in his first trip and ended up going to 2nd on an overthrow on an errant pickoff. As we mentioned, he has been very hot on the weekend. He is now 6 for 9 overall. And he swings and hits this one up the middle. It's right to Stamps, who's going to step on 2nd, throw to 1st, and not in time. So Stamps was shifted over and playing actually to the 3rd base side of 2nd. He fielded that one, raced to the bag, and was able to take care of the runner Frederick, but he can't get Reeves at 1st, so it'll be a fielder's choice. And that'll put Reeves on at 1st base, and that'll advance Alexander over to 3rd. So runners 1st and 3rd, 1 out now, and Carson Crow will be at the plate. He struck out swinging in the 1st inning. And again, Reeves, a threat to run, 4 out of 7 on stolen bases on the season. Fastball on the inside corner, strike 1. So Stamps playing on that shift, gloved it, raced to 2nd base, was able to get the lead runner, just couldn't get there in time to get Reeves, who runs really well, and beat the throw at 1st base. So 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Throw's going to go to 1st. Again, it's going to bounce over there, but Malik Williams gloves it. So Alexander running at 3rd, Reeves running at 1st. Carson Crow has a no-ball, 1-strike count with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Lipscomb leading Jacksonville State 1-0, but the Gamecocks threatening. And they've celebrated those big innings so far this weekend, as we mentioned. Here comes the 0-1. Swung on, hit deep in the air to right field. That's not going to be out of here. That's going to be a 3-run home run for Carson Crow. So that was a changeup that he looked like he was expecting, and he got all of that one. So 3 runs are going to come across. And Carson Crow has just hit his third home run of the season, and now Jacksonville State leads 3-1. So that was a changeup that hung up there. Crow jumped all over that, hit it way out in right field. So that'll bring up the designated hitter, Alex Carrignon. Carrignon was a strikeout victim back in the first inning as well. And he swings and hits this one on the ground softly towards Stamps. Stamps is going to glove, throw to first, and that'll be the second out of the inning to retire Carrignon. So Strachan will come in. Strachan walked back in the second inning. So Buxton was cruising right along and then gave up a leadoff base hit to Alexander, a walk to Frederick, got Reeves on a fielder's choice, and then Crow hit a 3-run home run. So 3 quick runs here for the Gamecocks in the top of the third. That's a slider that he swings through, 0-1. We mentioned they've lived on the big inning this series. They had put up 5 in the second inning on Friday and then 6 in the 5th inning in Saturday's game. So the Bisons would like to hold it right here. The 0-1 is a fastball that'll bounce, and it'll be a ball and a strike. Buxton up to 52 pitches here in the third inning. So expect we may see a little bit of a bullpen day today for the Bisons. They used 4 pitchers both Friday and Saturday, but I have a lot of arms available. There's that changeup, and he swung through it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bases empty with 2 outs. 3 runs home in the inning for the Gamecocks. Norton waits on deck if Strachan can extend the inning here. That's a slider that misses off the plate, so it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one's a slider again. It'll miss off the plate. So the count's now worked full. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Strachan. As Buxton would like to limit the damage here. 2 outs and the base is empty. Here comes the payoff. Swung on and tap towards third. Will Hoyt's going to glove it, take a couple steps, throw on to first. He pulls Williams off the bag, but Malik's able to tag him out. And so that will be the third out of the inning. But it is a productive inning for the Gamecocks. They score 3 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and no one left on base. We've got a new score as we head to the bottom of the third. It's Jacksonville State 3 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Home half of the third inning is going to start with Caleb Ketchup, followed by John Shields and Maddox Houghton. Camden Lovrich has gone all the way for the Gamecocks. He's given up 3 hits and 1 run, but his teammates have just staked him to a 3-1 lead with a home run off the bat of Carson Crow in the top of the third inning. And so it's 3-1, Jacksonville State leading. Ketchup stands in there batting .241, 1 home run and 5 RBIs. That home run was in Tuesday's game over to Tennessee Tech, and he swings and hits this one to left field. It's sinking, and Maynor is not going to be able to glove it. Again, another terrific effort and a good swing by Ketchup, who's really been swinging it well over the last 3 or 4 games. And so he'll have the 4th Bison's hit of the day, and he's on at first base with a leadoff single. Ketchup hit that well. Maynor, again, shown good range and really good glove instincts, and almost made another terrific catch on that one. That'll bring up John Shields. John's been having a tough weekend. He grounded out in the first inning. One for 10 on the weekend, and Ketchup is going to get chased back. Ketchup is 6 for 7 in stolen bases. That's second on the team to John Shields, who's got 11 bags on the year. And so he is certainly a threat to run, and I'm sure that that is in the Gamecock scouting report. So third baseman Norton in a couple steps in front of the bag, and that's a slider just off the plate. No balls, or 1 ball, no strikes rather, on Shields. Loveridge doing a good job staying with low pitch counts and staying in the zone, and he swings and hits this one on the ground towards second. It's hit slowly, and it's going to be missed. Are they going to call interference? They are indeed. We're going to have an argument about that. So second baseman Frederick was coming in to field that, and Ketchup is running past him, and there's really not much way that Ketchup can avoid him on that. I have to say that Ketchup did not appear to deviate out of the base paths, and he's got a right to that base path. Unfortunately, there was a collision, but that does not mean interference. As I said, Ketchup has a right to the base path, and the ball was hit slowly. Frederick was charging. Ketchup stays in the base paths, and there is contact, and the ball ends up going under Frederick's glove. The initial call from third base umpire Stephen Hagan was that he was out. So we're going to see there's been an umpires conference here, and Coach Jeff Forehand's come halfway down the third baseline. There's going to be a discussion here. From the looks of things, I don't know that they're going to overturn this one. And so Coach Forehand is standing outside the baseline, and he's arguing his case, but I do not think that he's going to prevail based on the body language of the parties that are involved. Now he's going to come down after not succeeding talking to third base umpire Stephen Hagan. Now he's going to go out on the field, and that may engender a little bit more of a reaction. So again, hard to know what Ketchup can do there. He's got a right to the base path. He's running in the base path, and unfortunately the path of the ball carried Frederick into the same baseline. But it appears they're going to call him out, so that'll be a fielder's choice for Shields. And that'll erase Ketchup from the base path. Coach Forehand is still unhappy. Bob Howard comes over from first base now to talk to him about the interpretation. It's a judgment call. But again, I believe the runner has some right to the base path in that situation because he doesn't simply have to stop. And so if he hasn't gone out of his way to interfere with the fielder, it seems that that's a tough call. So I think that's what Coach Forehand is pointing out. And again, Ketchup runs well, and the ball was hit slowly, and so he happened to simply arrive about at the same spot at the time that Frederick was charging in. Frederick had to come in to try to field that. They were going to have no play at second base, and that's the unfortunate part of the play. I don't know that they would have even gotten the play at first because Shields runs really well and the ball was hit slowly. So it's a tough play for the Bisons because at worst you think that Ketchup's going to advance to second on that play and Shields might be out at first. It's the net effect of a sacrifice play. But as it stands, they're going to call the lead runner out, and there'll be 1 out in the inning, and Shields will be aboard at first base if this stays where it is, which I have every reason to believe it will. But Coach Forehand's going to have a say with the crew. Had a couple of unusual calls. We had a call on Friday's game where a ball was hit out toward Rudy Maxwell. It first appeared that Rudy might have caught it, and there was a runner at second base. And then that ruling was overturned, and they awarded the runner at second to third base. And I spoke to Coach Forehand about that before the game today. He said that the interpretation of the rule is if the call is overturned, then the runners are allowed 1 extra base. And so since the call was overturned from an out call to a no catch, 1 extra base was awarded. The difficult thing about that is the runner at second, who was Reeves, would have had to have held up anyway because there was no way that he was going to risk being doubled off. And so we have seen some applications of the rule book here this weekend. And Coach Forehand's still out having a discussion with first base umpire Bob Howard. No replay available here at Ken Dugan Field, so that's not something they can go back and replay. And I think that's totally within the umpire's judgment. I think he might be discussing with Howard that Howard can at least see down the base path, but it's not going to get changed, and we're going to stay with a 1-out situation. Maddox Houghton's going to come to the plate. He flew out to right field back in the first inning. So 0 for 1 on the day for Maddox. Came into the game batting .323. Again, Shields a threat to run. 11 out of 12 steals on the season. Good lead at first. That one almost hit him. Stayed inside with a slider, it looked like. 1 ball and no strikes. Never know how that long layoff will affect your pitcher. Lovers just has to stand out there where all the discussion's going on. And pitchers who are throwing well, as he's been, like to stay in a rhythm and keep the tempo going. So a little bit of a delay. We'll watch and see if that has any effect. He's going to throw to first. Shows a good move, and Shields goes diving back in. So 1 ball, no strikes on Maddox Houghton. There's 1 out. We're playing in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Jacksonville State is leading Lipscomb 3-1. And that slider's going to miss outside as well. 2 balls, no strikes. Mason Lundgren waits on deck. Inning started with a solid base hit off the bat of Ketchup. He was at first, and John Shields hit a slow roller towards second. And as Ketchup was running to second, he collided really inadvertently with Frederick, who happened to be charging hard and was ruled out on fielder's interference. That swung on and hit in the air to the right side. Going over is Strachan, but it's going to make the foul ground, and so the count will be 2 balls and 1 strike on Maddox Houghton. Overich has allowed 4 hits in the first 2 and a third innings, but only 1 run, and it was an unearned run, as there was a throwing error in that inning that led to the Bison's lone run of the day. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Runner going. Pitch is down. Throw's going to be to the third base side, and it's going to get past the shortstop Alexander. John Shields has his 12th stolen base on the season. And that pitch was judged a ball, so it's going to be 3 balls and 1 strike. So Shields in scoring position now. 3 balls, 1 strike on Maddox Houghton. It's a pretty good pitch to handle. It was up in the zone. Ryan turned it around quickly, but the throw was to the third base side, so Shields would have been safe regardless, but Alexander couldn't come up with the throw. So Shields is at second. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Swung on and hit foul backwards. That was a slider on the outside part. So again, Lovrich has shown the ability and the pattern of throwing that slider in any count, along with the live fastball that he's had. He's primarily been fastball and slider so far. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Shields your runner at second. Second baseman Frederick pulled up the middle a little bit toward the bag as they play Houghton to the pull side. And the payoff is a fastball rather, and he got him, strike 3. So a big second out of the inning for the Gamecocks as Houghton is retired on strikes, and that'll bring up Mason Lundgren. Lundgren was a strikeout victim back in the first as he got called out on strikes. Two for 8 on the weekend now, but came in batting .375, leading the Bison. So he'd like to have a chance to get one back as Bison's having a runner at scoring position with 2 outs here. Swung on and hit towards left field. Maynard's going back, still going back towards the warning track, and he's going to glove it there. So Lundgren gave that a good ride. But again, Maynard, an excellent defensive outfielder, and he's going to track that one down right at the warning track. So the Bisons don't score despite 1 hit in the inning. They do end up stranding a runner, and they've stranded 2 runners in the first 3 innings. And we head to the bottom, or rather the top half of the 4th. Your score, Jacksonville State 3 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Top half of inning number 4, Ike Buxton back out on the hill for the Bisons, and it will be 6, 7, and 8, Norton, Bryan, and Mainers for the Gamecocks as Jacksonville State leads Lipscomb 3-1, top of the 4th inning. 3rd game of this 3-game series between these 2 teams to open conference play. Norton 0 for 1 as he's grounded into a double play back in the 2nd inning. And fastball is going to stay inside, and they're going to say, did they say it hit him? I believe they did. Looked like he made a whole lot of attempt to get out of the way of that one, but nonetheless, he is going to be awarded first base. So the 3rd time in 4 innings, the Gamecocks are going to have their leadoff runner on, or leadoff batter on, rather, and that'll bring up Brooks Bryan, the catcher, who singled and was stranded back in the second inning. So Buxton, 58 pitches so far in 3 innings. He's given up 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. The big blow was the 3-run homer from Carson Crowe last inning. Strachan, no stolen bases on the season. Or correction, Norton rather. And that pitch is going to miss for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes on Brooks Bryan with Mainers waiting on deck. Hits are even at 4 per side, but one of those blows has been a 3-run homer for the Gamecocks, and that's what they lead 3-1. Runner going, and that's going to hit him as well. That was a slider that just didn't move. And so back-to-back hit by pitches here for Buxton to start the 4th inning. So that's going to bring up Mason Mainers. Mainers in left field. Again, made one of those terrific catches. Diving, or almost made a diving catch, but did make a great catch there on the ball that Lundgren hit to in the home half of the 3rd inning. And he'll bat with 2 on and nobody out. Ball throw to second, and they had him picked off, and the ball hits him in the head. That was unfortunate. An inside move. Ketchup came over. A good throw, they would have had him out because he was definitely leaning, but the ball hit him. He's going to have to shake that off a little bit, so no harm, no foul. Mainers is a strikeout victim back in the 2nd inning. He was showing bunt there. They certainly had Norton off the bag. He shows bunt again. Good bunt towards the mound. It'll be fielded by Buxton. Only play will be to first, and they will successfully advance the runners on a sacrifice bunt from Mainers. So 1 out, runners 2nd and 3rd now as Norton goes to 3rd, Bryan goes to 2nd. And that'll bring up Isaac Alexander, who singled and scored a run back in the 3rd. He started that inning with a solid base hit. He's got 3 hits on the weekend in 10 trips to the plate, does the senior Isaac Alexander. Out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama. He looks at a slider off the plate, and that'll be ball 1. Bison's infield is back. They'll concede the run here in the 4th inning on a ground ball with runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. And that's a slider that'll catch the outside corner, a ball and a strike. Malik Williams is drawn in almost even with the bag at first. They are playing Alexander a bit toward the pull side as Stamps is shading toward the middle. Outfield straight away and fairly normal depth. That's a fastball that'll miss outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Starting to see a little bit of scurrying around and stretching down in the Bison's bullpen. See if we can get a number for you here in a minute. Swung on and hit back up the middle, base hit. They're going to wave Norton, and here comes Bryan. The throw is going to be cut off. They'll throw to 2nd. And nobody covering first, but they're going to go back, and Malik Williams will retreat and tag out Alexander. But that'll be a base hit with 2 RBIs as both Norton and Bryan will score. Alexander will be cut down there on the relay. The throw came in. It was cut off by Malik Williams. He threw to 2nd. No one was covering first, but Malik aggressively sprinted back to cover the bag, but that's a base hit and 2 more RBIs, and that'll stretch the Gamecocks lead to 5-1. And with 2 outs and the bases empty, back to the top of the order in Cole Frederick. And he swings through this changeup there, 0-1. Frederick grounded out in the 1st, walked and was cut down on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. So 0 for 1 on the day is Frederick. Swings and taps this up the middle. Ranging to his left is Ketchup. He throws on to first. Nice play there. And they will retire Cole Frederick for the 3rd out of the inning. But again, the Gamecocks scored 2 runs on 1 hit. There were no errors and nobody left on base. And as we head to the home half of the 4th, your new score, Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the fourth inning. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 5-1. Camden Loveridge back out there. He's gone 3 innings, given up 4 hits, 1 run. It was unearned, so no walks and 2 strikeouts and 44 pitches to get through the first 3 innings. He'll face 4, 5, and 6 with Malik Williams, Trace Wilhoit, and Rudy Maxwell for the Bisons, who would like to chip back at this lead here in the middle innings. Malik singled and was stranded back in the second. Again, came into today's action batting .370, so he is up that average some. We got some scores for you we'll get to this half inning. First from March Madness, Houston has defeated Illinois 68-53 as he swings through that one for strike 1. And that's the only final so far out of March Madness that we have for you. That one's going to miss downstairs. It'll be a ball and a strike. We will update you on scores from around the area teams and also the ASUN conference teams that are in action today. Here comes the 1-1. Swings and taps it towards third base. Coming hard is Norton, and they're going to say that that is indeed a base hit. So thought it might have gone off his foot. That's what I think the Gamecocks are waiting to see. But instead, Malik Williams will have about a 40-foot single there. Just got on top of that one and rolled it down towards third base, but it looks like a line drive in the box score. So second base hit of the day for Williams. That'll be the 5th hit overall for the Bisons. Both teams have 5 hits. Trace Wilhoit will stand in. He grounded into a double play in his first at-bat after Williams had singled to lead off the second inning. Swings and fouls the fastball back, 0-1. So area teams in action. Old Dominion's leading Middle Tennessee 4-0. Austin Peay, that game is in the top of the 4th. In the top of the 3rd, Austin Peay and St. Louis are tied 4-4. And Wofford and Belmont are tied 1-1 down the street at Belmont, top of the 3rd in that game. Here comes the 0-1 outside with a slider. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tennessee Martin, Western Carolina tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 2nd. Tennessee is leading South Carolina 6-0 in the top of the 7th. The Vols threatening to sweep that weekend series over in Knoxville. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at first. Nobody out. That's a beautiful pitch there, like a slider or a changeup, and he got to the inside corner. It'll be a ball and 2 strikes to Wilhoit. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out, and Williams, your runner at first. Swung on and hit in the air towards the right field line. That's curving, still going towards the corner. That's going to get foul. Crow gave it a long chase, but it hits foul, and so Wilhoit will stay alive with a 1 ball, 2 strike count. So update on some of the ASUN conference action today. They're in the top of the 7th at Stetson, and Florida Gulf Coast is leading 6-1. Also in the top of the 7th at Jacksonville. Kennesaw State and Jacksonville are tied 3-3. Top of the 7th at Bellarmine, and Central Arkansas leading the Knights 9-5. And North Alabama leading Eastern Kentucky 4-1 in the bottom of the 7th. That's a slider that'll stay high, and the count will be 2 balls and 2 strikes on Trace Wilhoit. One other ASUN conference action, Liberty is leading North Florida 5-4. That game's in the top of the 6th. Again, those teams have split their opening games this weekend. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Wilhoit. And the slider just missed high, 3-2. Good spot on the east-west, but it was a little high on the north side, and so he didn't get the call there. So it'll be 3 balls, 2 strikes on Wilhoit. We'll see if Williams might be running. As we mentioned, he's 1 for 3 on the season in stolen base, or rather 1 for 2 in stolen bases. He's not going. Ball's hit into left field. That's going to be a base hit. That was a seeing eye ball that was just hit right into the right spot. Wasn't hit hard, but it was just between Norton at third and Alexander at short. And so the Bisons have back-to-back singles to start off the 4th inning. And that'll bring Rudy Maxwell to the plate. And Rudy singled and scored the lone run of the day for the Bisons back in the 2nd inning. Comes in batting .312 on the season, 3 homers and 18 RBIs. So chance for the Bisons to get back. They trail 5-1 here in the bottom of the 4th, and Maxwell looks at a fastball high, 1 ball, no strikes. Rudy with 2 sacrifices on the season, but I believe both of those are the sacrifice fly variety. I don't believe he has a sacrifice bunt to his credit, so we'll see how Coach Forehand and the Bisons elect to play it. Ethan Stamps, who's been swinging it well, is on deck for the Bisons. Swung on and tapped towards short. Charging hard is Alexander. He's going to throw to third and not going to be in time. So the throw actually pulled the third baseman off the bag. It was a slow hit ball. Alexander kind of flipped it over to Norton. And looks like they're going to make that an infield base hit, and that'll be 3 base hits in the inning, none of which have been hit very hard, but all of which have produced a base runner and loaded the bases. So 3 straight singles now for the Bisons, who have 7 hits on the day, and bases are juiced for Ethan Stamps, and he had a single back in the second inning. We mentioned Ethan has been swinging it well lately. He's up to 304 on the season, 2 homers and 8 RBI. So Stamps bats with the bases loaded, nobody out in the 4th inning. And again, Loveridge throwing the ball well, but baseball's a funny game. Sometimes you hit it hard and it goes right at somebody, and sometimes you barely get a hold of it and you get a base hit. We've seen that happen here 3 straight times in this inning. Starts him off with a slider that misses downstairs. That'll be 1 ball and no strikes on Stamps. Bertolani waiting on deck. 7 hits on the day for the Bisons, but just 1 run, and it was an unearned run. Loveridge has not walked anybody, and he has struck out 2. The 1-0 fastball swung through at strike 1. Stamps with a big hack there. I believe he had visions of tying this one up with his 1 swing of the bat, but he didn't get it. It'll be a ball and a strike. Playing in the bottom of the 4th inning, Jacksonville State scored 3 in the 3rd and 2 in the top of the 4th. They lead 5-1. And the 1-1 slider swung through it 1-2. So nice bounce back here by Loveridge. He's got Stamps in a 1-2 hole with the bases loaded. Williams, your runner at 3rd, Wilhoit at 2nd, and Rudy Maxwell running at 1st. 3 straight singles to start the bottom of the 4th for the Bisons. The 1-2 slider hit foul, and he'll stay alive at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, we've seen Loveridge throw a lot of those sliders with a 2-strike count. Also has showed a changeup and a pretty live fastball. So good outing so far for Camden Loveridge, the 6-foot-tall, 175-pound sophomore out of Pike Road, Alabama. He played at Trinity Presbyterian High School, making his 5th start on the season. Last year he was a record of 2 wins, 1 loss. He appeared in 22 games, only started 2 through 36 innings, gave up 31 strikeouts and 21 walks, and so 2-1 record and a 4.50 ERA last year. He was 1-2 with a 4.66 ERA in 2020. Here comes the 1-2 to Stamps, and just missed. Didn't get the call on that one. It stayed high with a slider, so 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, and the bases are full of Bisons, and Ethan Stamps with a chance to get the Bisons right back in this one in Game 3 of this weekend series. Here comes the 2-2. That's going to miss way high with a fastball. It'll be 3-2. So we'll see what Loveridge elects to do here. Again, with 2 strikes, he's come back and thrown that slider on a number of these Bisons hitters. He's tended to work the fastball away from them, and Stamps will dig in and see what he can offer here on the payoff pitch. Here it comes. Swung on, hit high in the air towards center field. Williams is going to tag at 3rd. Reeves is going back, still going back. He camps under it. He gets it, and in the throw will go to 3rd, and Williams will jog home, and the Bisons have their 2nd run of the day on a sacrifice fly from Ethan Stamps. So that'll be an RBI for Ethan Stamps. It will be the first out of the inning, and Wilhoit will hold at 2nd, Maxwell at 1st, and that'll bring up Chaz Bertolani, who grounded out 5-3 in his first at-bat back in the 2nd inning. So Stamps continues to hit the ball hard. He hit that one well. He's just got under it and lifted it to center field. Big park here, 400 to straightaway center, 330 down each foul line, 375 to the power alleys. And again, not a lot of wind today. The little bit of wind that is blowing toward the left field corner. And that one's hit in the air to right field. Crow is ranging over. He's going to glove it there. Tagging at 2nd is Wilhoit, and the throw's going to be offline, and he's going to make it all the way to 3rd. So Bertolani is going to advance the 2 runners. Wilhoit tagged and went to 3rd to throw way offline. So both Maxwell and Wilhoit are able to advance 90 feet, but it's 2 outs in the inning now, and it'll be up to Caleb Ketchup with runners at 2nd and 3rd. Ketchup had a base hit in the 3rd inning. Came in batting .241 on the season. 2 for 6 on the weekend now for Caleb. So chance for the Bisons to add a couple more. Runner second and third, 2 outs as Jacksonville State leads Lipscomb 5-2. And that's grounded towards third. Norton's going to glove it and throw on to first. And that will retire the side. So nice bounce back there for Loveridge. But the Bisons do chip back at the lead. They score 1 run, courtesy of 3 hits. There were no errors. They did leave 2 men on base. They've stranded 4 through 4. But as we complete our 4th inning, we've got a new score, Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 2. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the top of the 5th inning. 5 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Jacksonville State. 2 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors for Lipscomb. And it will be 2-3-4, Reeves, Crow, and Carrignon to face Ike Buxton. Buxton's gone all the way. 4 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And Reeves has a single and hit into a fielder's choice. And he looks at a slider downstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Big shift on. Again, Stamps, the second baseman, pulled over to the third base side of second. Catch up the shortstop squarely in the hole. So Williams, the only defender on the right side. And that one's going to skip past Bertolani, and it'll be 2 balls and no strikes. So 2-0 to T.J. Reeves, the center fielder, and he swings and hits this one right towards Ketchup at short. He's going to glove, take a step or 2, and throw to first. Comes off the bag, and again, Malik Williams with a nice play there as he tags Reeves in the head as he comes by. So Williams bails out Ketchup there on that throw. One of those where Caleb might have just had too much time. The ball came to him, he took a couple steps and threw it, and he pulled Williams up the first base side. So they'll keep Reeves off the bases, which has been a rare event this weekend. I think he's only been retired 1 other time in all his at-bats all weekend. So Carson Crow stands in, and Crow has the big blow in the game so far. He had a 3-run home run back in the 3rd, struck out swinging in the 1st. And he starts him with a fastball right through there, strike 1. Crow came in batting just 185, but he's got 3 homers now and 9 RBIs on the season. So figure he is not hitting in the 3-hole by accident. Usually a good hitter there. That's a ball downstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. So even though he's off to a slow start, he showed you some pop. He sat on a changeup that Buxton threw back in the 3rd and hit it way out of here in right field. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, bases empty. Swung on and hit in towards left field. Maxwell's going to come over, and he's going to glove it there for the 2nd out of the inning. So 2 quick outs for Buxton, and that'll bring up Alex Carrignon, designated hitter today. He struck out and grounded out in his 2 trips to the plate. And he's going to walk down and talk to Coach Case. And this is one of those situations where they want to give their pitcher a little bit of a breather. It's 2 quick outs in the inning, and you don't want Loveridge to have to go right straight back out there and go to work without having a chance to catch his breath, maybe get a drink of water. So I doubt that Coach Case is telling Carrignon anything that he doesn't already know, but this is just part of the game of baseball, and it's something that you see at all of these higher level games, and so it's a solid play to give the pitcher a little bit of a chance to catch his breath there. So Carrignon will stand in, and the slider will miss outside for ball 1. Reminder that the Bisons will be on the road on Tuesday. They'll be up at Louisville playing the Louisville Cardinals, a 5 p.m. Central Time start. As he swings and hits that one high in the air towards right field. Stamps drifting back. He's going to get called off by Shields, the right fielder. And that will be a quick 1-2-3 inning for Ike Buxton. That's the first 1-2-3 inning of the day for the Bisons. So we head to the bottom half of the 5th in your score. Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 2. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. To the home half of the fifth inning we go. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 5-2, and Camden Loveridge, the sophomore right-hander, is back out there for the Gamecocks. He's gone the whole way, 4 innings, given up 7 hits, 2 runs, both of which are unearned. Hasn't walked anybody and struck out 2, so 64 pitches through the first 4 innings for Camden Loveridge. And he faces the top of the order in John Shields, and John's grounded out and hit into a fielder's choice. A little bit of a controversial play on that fielder's choice, as it was a slow hit ball, and Caleb Ketchup, running to second, collided with the second baseman and was ruled out for interference. That one's fouled out of play, 0-1. And John's had a slow weekend, just 1 base hit in 11 trips to the plate after getting off to a great start in the season. That's going to miss just off the plate with a slider and be a ball and a strike. 27 hitters so far. Loveridge has only gone to a 3-ball count 4 times. That's hit towards center field. Is it going to get down? No, it's not, because Reeves is going to come on and make a fine running catch. And he will retire Shields for the first out of the inning. So Maddox Houghton will stand in. Maddox also 0 for 2 on the day. He's flied out to right field and been a strikeout victim. Came into the game batting .323. Again, he hit his second home run of the season in Saturday's game yesterday. So Bisons would like to start chipping back on this. They've out-hit the Gamecocks 7-5. Both teams have made 2 errors, but the Gamecocks lead 5-2 in runs. That's hit a mile high off to the right side. Strachan is chasing over towards the fence, looks up, and just out of his reach. Reached over the fence, and a young fan there who's got a red hat on, so we don't know if he's going to be a Jacksonville State fan, but he definitely stayed out of the way and did not in any way interfere with that. It's going to be strike 1 against Maddox Houghton. Mason Lundgren waiting on deck, the DH. So Loveridge has gone all the way and done a good job. We mentioned 5 innings has been his longest outing of the season. He's done that 3 times, 3 out of his 4 starts so far. Here comes the 0-1. Slider in there for a strike, 0-2. Noah Thompson still throwing down in the Bison's bullpen, as Buxton has worked the first 5 innings here. Here comes the 0-2. Fastball will stay high, and it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes to Maddox Houghton. Outfield straight away, fairly deep in left field. Mainers plays a really deep left field, but he runs well and gets good jumps on the ball, so you can understand why he likes to play where he does. He's shaded off the line a pretty good ways against Houghton. Here's the 1-2. That's hit foul, out of play on the left side. Good crowd here for a Sunday game. Students starting to filter back on campus. It's the end of spring break here at Lipscomb, so nicest weather that we've had so far, and a good day to be out at the ballpark. Bright sunny skies and temperature in the mid-60s. If we mentioned you're in the area and got kids, come on out, because kids can get on the field and run the bases after the game today. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and hit back up the middle for a base hit. That looked like a slider that he sat on, and so Maddox Houghton has his first base hit of the day. That'll be 8 hits on the day for the Bisons, and so with 1 out, they've got a runner at first for Mason Lundgren. And Lundgren's been called out on strikes and lined out to left field. A fine running catch by Maynor back in the 3rd inning. Lundgren came in batting .375, no homers and 14 RBIs on the season. for 9 on the weekend is Mason Lundgren. And so Houghton running at first. He is 6 for 6 on steals on the season. He's got a pretty good healthy lead. Fakes a steal, and Lundgren's going to take a slider in there for strike one. So again, Loveridge has done a really good job getting ahead of these hitters, throwing a lot of breaking balls early in the count, but throwing them for strikes. And again, no walks on the day as he pitches here in the 5th. Throw will go to first. He's got a good move to first, quick feet and a strong throw over there, but Houghton is back. Third baseman Norton way off the line for the left-handed hitting Lundgren. It's about even with the bag, but far off the line. Throw's going to go back to first. Closer play. Ball gets out of the glove of Strachan. So they are certainly thinking about Houghton over there. It counts no balls and 1 strike. There's 1 out. We're playing in the bottom of the 5th, and Jacksonville State is leading Lipscomb 5-2. That's a slider just off the plate. Brian tried to frame it, but couldn't sell it. So it's a 1 ball, 1 strike count on Lundgren with Malik Williams waiting on deck. Bison still waiting to have this big inning on the weekend. Scored just 1 run on Friday and 4 in yesterday's game, but most of those were 1-run innings. And did he check his swing? Apparently he did. That was a slider that missed downstairs. So that'll be 2 balls and 1 strike on Mason Lundgren. Bison's had just 5 hits in Friday's game. They bounced back for 9 hits yesterday, but again, they scored 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and had just a single run in Friday's game. So offense has been hard to come by this weekend. That's after this team put up 21 runs in Tuesday's game against Tennessee Tech. So you know they've got the potential for doing that. That's a fastball in the outside corner. Took a little something off, but it's 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Houghton has not really showed anything that looks like a break other than on the very first pitch of the at-bat. We'll see how he plays it here at 2-2. Not running, and that one misses inside. Almost hit him with a slider there. So full count on Lundgren. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out. Shields lined out to center to start the inning, and then Houghton had a base hit right back up the middle, and Mason Lundgren batting now. And he's running. 3-2 pitch. Bounces, and it gets behind Brian, and he didn't see it at first, but Maddox Houghton holds up at second. So that'll be a base on balls for Lundgren. First walk of the day for Loveridge. Houghton will advance down to second, and Malik Williams will come up. 2 for 2 on the day, 2 singles. He did score a run back in the 4th inning as Ethan Stamps drove him in with a sacrifice fly. The Bisons had 3 straight hits to start that inning, 3 singles. But then Loveridge came back, got a sac fly, a fly ball, and a ground out to get himself out of trouble. And Coach Jim Case is walking out to the mound. And we'll see if he elects to make a pitching change here. Again, Loveridge is now at 78 pitches. He's done an excellent job today. You got to tip your hat to this sophomore right-hander. You can see why he's been effective throughout the season. He's done a good job getting ahead of hitters. He's kept himself in favorable counts. And looks like he's going to stay in there. So they're going to leave him in to face Malik Williams. Malik, again, 2 for 2 on the day, batting .370 on the season, leads the Bisons with 4 homers and 23 RBIs. So big spot here for Malik with runners first and second. 1 out, Houghton your runner at second, Lundgren running at first. So good speed on at second. And again, Williams has seen a steady diet of off-speed pitches this weekend. We'll see what they offer to him here. And that's a fastball down for ball 1. Activity down in the Jacksonville State bullpen. From our vantage point, it's difficult to make out a jersey number, but we do see what looks like a right-hander throwing there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Again, Loveridge now at 78 pitches on the day. Comes the 1-0. Checked his swing and couldn't hold up. That was a slider, and it's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 men on. We are in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 5-2 after they won the first 2 games of this series, 10-1 on Friday and 6-4 on Saturday. Bison's trying to fight back here in the middle innings. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Slider misses high. It'll be 2 balls and 1 strike. So 2 balls, 1 strike to Malik Williams, senior first baseman. It's off to a terrific start for Lipscomb here in this 2022 campaign, and he awaits the 2-1 from Loveridge. Houghton is running, and he swings and fouls it out of play. So I don't know if that Houghton ran on that on his own. Lundgren did not break from first, so not sure if there was a double steal on or if Houghton just felt like he was being ignored and saw a chance to grab a bag. But it'll be a 2 ball, 2 strike count as Williams fouled that one out of play. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Camden Loveridge in a tight spot here. Throws a slider and misses outside, and that'll be 3 balls and 2 strikes. We'll see if they elect to start the runners here. Again, Houghton has got a pretty good lead and is not being specifically held on too closely out there. The second baseman, Frederick, has taken a couple of steps toward the bag, now takes another step or 2. But they obviously want to protect that left side with Williams tending to be a pretty strong pull hitter. So payoff pitch to Loveridge to Williams. And instead they're going to step off. Frederick broke as if they were going to try to pick Houghton, but I think they were probably just trying to cut the lead down there a little bit. So lots of signaling going on. The second baseman, Frederick, displaying some signs out there. 3 balls, 2 strike, 1 out. Malik Williams in a big moment in the ball game. And the pitch swung on and tipped foul. That looked like a slider that he just got a piece of to stay alive. So Williams hanging in there. We mentioned that he's been a very good 2-strike hitter, particularly later in his career. When he came here, a little bit more of a free swinger, but as he's matured and seen a lot more D1 pitching, he's become a more patient 2-strike hitter. Will often go the opposite way, and he certainly got a gap on the right side if he were able to go that way. So we'll see how they elect to pitch him. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. And he swung through strike 3. That was ball 4. That was going to be outside, but it was a fastball, and he couldn't catch up to it. So Loveridge wins that battle, and now with 2 outs, Trace Wilhoit will stand in. Wilhoit has grounded into a double play and singled, so 1 for 2 on the day. Two for 10 on the weekend for Trace Wilhoit. So 2 outs, runner first and second rather. Lundgren your runner at first, Houghton your runner at second. And he swings and hits this to third. Diving stop by Norton. He's going to jump to his feet. And just like that, Camden Loveridge fights his way back and gets out of the inning. So tip your cap to Loveridge for a good job there. The Bisons are going to strand 2 more runners. They've stranded 6 now through the first 5 innings. They do have 1 hit but no runs. And after 5 complete, your score, Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 2. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Top of the 6th inning we go, and Alex Strachan has started off with a ball from Ike Buxton. That's another one's going to miss outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 5-2 here in the top of the 6th inning. Bison's put a couple of runners on the bottom of the 5th. Couldn't get him around. There's a strike through there, 2-1. And that's going to miss down and away. 3 balls, 1 strike. Noah Thompson still been stretching a little bit out in the Bison's bullpen. Buxton has gone all the way. He's at 75 pitches right now. And the 3-1 swung on and tapped foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Strachan. Strachan has walked and grounded out on the day. Bisons have out hit the Gamecocks 8-5, but the scoreboard's in favor of the Gamecocks, and that's hit in the air to center field. Houghton with a long run, and he will get there to glove that one for the first out of the inning. So 1 down as Strachan is retired, and that'll bring up Brennan Norton. Norton grounded into a double play and was hit by a pitch and scored a run back in the 4th. So 0 for 1 on the day. Came in batting .279. And he hits this one high in the air toward left field. Maxwell's going back, still going back, and gloves it right at the wall. He hit that one well, but Maxwell drew a bead on it and it hung up there that he could catch it right at the left center field wall. So that is a long and loud second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Brooks Bryan, the catcher. Bryan has singled, also was hit by a pitch and scored back in the 4th inning. So 2 quick outs in the top of the 6th for Buxton, and that's a slider that's going to miss downstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Ike's thrown well overall. He did have a couple of consecutive hit by pitches back in the 4th, and he gave up the 1 big swing to Crow in the 3rd inning for the home run. But outside of that, he has pitched effectively, and that's a fastball in the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. 82 pitches. He's faced 24 hitters here, given up 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. And that's a changeup there, beauty. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'd like to see the starter give you at least 5 innings, and Buxton has already given 5 2/3. So got to think that Coach Myers and Coach Forehand and the staff will be pleased with that. So here's the 1-2, swung on and hit foul, and the count will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes. And looks like Noah Thompson's starting to throw with a little more intensity down there. So I would suspect that this could be the last hitter for Buxton. Almost no matter how this turns out. Mainers is on deck, and he's a left-handed hitter, so they may elect to go with a lefty-lefty matchup. So here comes the 1-2, and it won't happen this inning. There's a beautiful changeup from Ike Buxton for strike 3. That'll be his 4th strikeout on the day. Nothing doing at all for the Gamecocks in the 6th. We head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Your score, Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 2. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We are headed to the home half of the sixth inning. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 5-2, and a new pitcher on the mound for the Gamecocks. He's sophomore right-hander Reed Fagerstrom, 6'1", 200-pounder out of Noonan, Georgia, Northgate High School. Fagerstrom pitched in Friday's game. He threw 2 innings, did not allow a hit or a run, didn't walk anybody, struck out 2, threw 25 pitches on Friday. On the season, this will be his 6th appearance. He's started 3 times. He got a record of no wins, 1 loss, 6.61. He's worked 16 1/3 innings, given up 18 hits, 12 runs, 12 earned, 10 walks, 23 strikeouts. Opponents batting .265. So Fagerstrom in relief for Camden Lovrich, who threw very well, gave up just 2 runs through 5 innings. And Maxwell hammers that one fair down the line. That's rolling towards the corner. Rudy's going to round first, and he's going to be into second as Mainers comes up with it. So a stand-up double on the first pitch for Rudy Maxwell. That'll be Rudy's 3rd hit of the day. After a quiet weekend, he has broken out today. 2 singles and a double now in 3 trips to the plate. The Bisons have the leadoff hitter aboard here in the 6th, and that'll bring up Ethan Stamps. And Stamps has a base hit and a sacrifice fly with an RBI. Drove one in the 4th inning as he came up in a bases-loaded situation. That'll be the 9th hit of the day for the Bisons. Again, only 5 hits for the Gamecocks, but one of those was a big 3-run homer. Both teams have committed 4 errors on the day. So Stamps up there with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. Again, Stamps been swinging a very hot bat over the last 10 days or so, and he starts him off with a slider. He checks his swing and can't hold up. It'll be strike 1. You can close the book on the starter, Camden Lovrich. He goes 5 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, none earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. So no earned runs in 5 innings. He throws 86 total pitches. So an excellent start on the day for Lovrich. Here comes the 0-1. That's a slider that'll miss way outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lovrich did a really good job, got ahead of hitters early in the count, was able to throw his breaking ball effectively for strikes and showed a live fastball. And so very solid outing for the sophomore right-hander Camden Lovrich. Fagerstrom has been sort of the 4th starter on the season. And as we mentioned, pitched in Friday's game. They're going back to second base, but Stamps is diagnosing that one, and he chats with Frederick and says, "Hey man, I saw you coming from a mile off. You're not going to get me on that one." So Frederick is responsible for trying to hold him there. Correction, that's Maxwell running at second. Stamps is at the plate. And the 1-1 swung on and hit off the end of the bat towards first. It's going to be gloved by Strachan, and so it'll advance the runner to third. Stamps took a big hack at it and hit it right off the end of the bat as he was in front of that one. So 3 unassisted for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Chaz Bertolani, who is grounded out and flown out in his 2 at-bats today. Hit the ball hard to right field last time up, but was retired. Bisons had loaded the bases in the 4th inning. They had 3 straight singles, none of which were hit hard. The first one, Malik Williams hit it about 30 feet off the end of the bat, and then Trace Wilhoit hit one that bounced about 10 times and got through the hole between third and short. And then Rudy Maxwell had a seeing eye base hit, so 3 straight base hits. Stamps had a sac fly, but then Lovrich came back and got Bertolani to fly out and got a ground out, and the Bisons only scored 1 out of that opportunity. And Bertolani looks at a pitch inside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Maxwell just 90 feet away. That one's going to be through there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Infield's back. They'll obviously concede the run here with a 5-2 lead as we play in the bottom of the 6th inning. And again, Mainers plays really deep in left field out there. That's a slider that's got a big loop on it, but is going to miss outside. It'll be 2 balls and 1 strike. Caleb Ketchup waits on deck for the Bisons. Both teams have been a little sloppy defensively today. 2 errors on each side, and he swings through that fastball and doesn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the Bisons trying to claw their way back into this one. I'd love to get that runner home from third base. A simple ground ball should do it if Bertolani can get it on the ground here. He swings, and he sure does. There's a base hit up the middle. RBI base hit for Chaz Bertolani. Like a slider that hung up in the middle of the plate. And credit Bertolani with doing the job there. So 5-3, your new score as Bertolani drives Maxwell home from third. That'll be the 10th hit of the day for the Bisons. And Caleb Ketchup will come up and try to extend the inning. So Ketchup has singled and grounded out, 1 for 2. Came in batting .241 on the season. But again, he's hit the ball hard over the past 4 or 5 games, starting with last weekend series at Georgia. Had a lot of really good at-bats, hit some balls hard that were right at some people to get caught. So Caleb swinging it well, and he starts him off with a slider that misses way outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Bertolini, your runner at first. 1 for 1 on steals on the season. Bisons have swiped a couple of bags today already. And he swings and taps this again off the end of the bat, and it's booted by Strachan, but he's going to get there, and he'll just get there in time. Ketchup dove, tried to get the bag, but Strachan was able to recover and retire him. So almost a carbon copy of the ball that Stamps hit. It was right off the end of the bat. Ball moving away from him. So that'll advance Bertolini to second base in scoring position, but 2 outs now, and back to the top of the order in John Shields. And boy, there's a guy that's due. It's John Shields. But we may have a change here, and it looks like we are indeed going to have a call to the bullpen. So we'll step aside while we make the pitching change. We'll tell you that our score is Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 3, and that you're watching Lipscomb Bisons baseball on YouTube Live. The new pitcher for the Gamecocks is the senior left-hander Dylan Hathcock, 6'3", 230-pounder out of Tallahassee, Alabama, Tallahassee High School. Hathcock pitched yesterday, 1 2/3 innings, no walks, no hits, 2 strikeouts. He threw 18 pitches on the season. He's making his 7th appearance, a record of 1 win, 2 losses, 6.17 ERA, 11 2/3 innings, 15 hits, 10 runs, 8 earned, 5 walks, 10 strikeouts, and opponents batting opponents batting .333 against him. So John Shields is your batter. There are 2 outs. Chaz Bertolini is running at second base. 1 run on the inning for the Bisons. And Hathcock will see if he can get out the lefty Shields, as Coach K selects to go lefty-lefty matchup, and he throws him a breaking ball for a strike as he swung through it, 0-1. So Fagerstrom came in, gave up the double to Maxwell, then got Stamps to ground out to first, gave up a single to Bertolini to drive in the run, and then got Ketchup to ground out. So that's put us to this situation with Bertolini, your runner, at second, and an 0-1 count on John Shields. Long hold here. Swung on and hit high in the air, but that's going to stay up for the second baseman, Frederick. He's drifting back out into the outfield, and he will catch it for the 3rd out of the inning. So Hathcock does his job. It comes in and prevents further damage. The Bisons do pick up 1 run on 2 hits. They strand a runner. And for the day, I've got them with 7 runners stranded through 6 innings. We head to the 7th inning, got a new score. It's Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 3. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the top of the 7th inning. New pitcher for the Bisons is left-hander Noah Thompson, redshirt senior, 6 foot tall, 209 pounds, out of Louisville, Kentucky. He's making his 7th appearance on the season. He's got a record of 2 wins, no losses, an ERA of 4.15, 13 innings pitched, 13 hits, 8 runs, 6 earned, 3 walks, and 18 strikeouts. Opponent's batting .255 against Thompson. He last appeared in the game at Georgia last weekend, where he only faced a couple batters, gave up a couple hits and 1 run, no walks, no strikeouts. And so Noah Thompson takes over for Ike Buxton, and that's a breaking ball down in the dirt to Mason Mainers. Mainers has struck out and put down a sacrifice bunt on the day, so 0 for 1. Came in batting .250 on the season. And that one's going to be a breaking ball that'll stay high, 2 balls and no strikes. So solid start for Buxton. He goes 6 innings. He's up 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, but pitched pretty effectively. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. That's a fastball through there for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Say that Ike showed pretty good control, and again, 1 pitch to Crow that got hit out of the park. Outside of that, he did a good job controlling the counts. Did hit a couple of batters in the 4th inning that led to a couple of runs. That's a swing and a miss, and that'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Mason Mainers. It's 8-9-1 for the Gamecocks. Mainers, Alexander, and Frederick as we play here in the top of the 7th. And Jacksonville State is leading Lipscomb 5-3. And that swung on and hit foul and out of play. The count will remain at 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you're just joining us, Lipscomb put up a single run in the 2nd. And as they've done all weekend, Jacksonville State answered right back in the 3rd, put up 3 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th to go up 5-1. Bisons answered with a single run in the 4th and 1 in the bottom of the 6th. And oh, did that hit him? Nope, I believe he got out of the way of it, but it was inside for ball 3. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. So 5 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Gamecocks, 3 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors for the Bisons, as they haven't been able to get that timely hit today. And the payoff pitch is check swing, and he took it for ball 4. So good at bat there for Mainers, who battled back and draws a walk. Again, the Gamecocks 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position today, and that's what they've done well all weekend. The Bisons 2 for 11 in scoring position, runners in scoring position. And that's really the difference in the game at this point, because the Bisons have had base runners on. Mainers is on at first, and Isaac Alexander's up, and he's 2 for 2 with 2 singles, and he had 2 RBIs the last time he was up, driving in a couple of runs. And they've got him picked off at first, and he's out. So nice pickoff move there. Noah Thompson with a solid move, and he's going to pick off Mainers. Mainers frustrated with himself, but that'll be the first out of the inning. And good job there by Thompson. He saw him leaning, didn't look over there, lifted his leg, saw that he was flat-footed, and flipped to Malik Williams, who puts the tag on. So that'll erase the leadoff walk, and Alexander will bat with 1 out, and the base is empty, and he takes a strike, 0-1. Top of the order, and Frederick will be next. That's a breaking ball that'll stay high, 1 ball and 1 strike. So just 2 pitchers used today so far by the Bisons, and that's a fastball that he swings through, 1 ball and 2 strikes. They used 4 on Friday and 4 yesterday. Deep bullpen for this team. They've got about 20 pitchers on the roster, so there's still a lot of arms out there to throw should this one go deep. Here comes the 1-2, and it's a curveball, and it's a beauty. Strike 3. Floated that one in there. First strikeout for Noah Thompson. And Alexander is down on strikes, and that'll bring up Cole Frederick. Frederick has grounded out twice and walked, so 0 for 2 on the day. Came in batting .300. For the fine senior second baseman, and pitching coach Matt Myers is going to go out and have a chat with the home plate umpire, Matthew Barrett. I'm not sure. I think he might be saying that he wants to go out and check on Noah Thompson, and he doesn't want to be charged with a mound visit. And so he'll go to the umpire first. And I'm not sure what he saw, or if there may be, and Thompson says no, he's okay. So I'm not sure if he saw something there that he thought maybe Noah was displaying some degree of discomfort. Sometimes pitchers will have a blister or something that comes on that they try to fight through, and Coach Myers saw something. He knows these guys inside and out, and so he saw something with Thompson, but Thompson says, nope, I want the ball, Coach. So 2 outs, base is empty. Cole Frederick stands in there. And he misses inside with a breaking ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Again, Bison's back in action on Tuesday, the 22nd. They go up the road to Louisville for a 5 p.m. Central Time start. That's the first game of a 9 games away from Dugan Field. That one misses downstairs 2-0. Next weekend, the Bisons are on the road at Central Arkansas. First ever visit to the Sugar Bears. They'll play single games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's 6 p.m. Friday, 4 p.m. Saturday, 1 p.m. Sunday. All those times are Central Time. And that's hit on the ground towards Will Hoyt at third. It's in fair territory. He gloves it, throws to first. And that'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Noah Thompson. So nothing doing for the Gamecocks here in the top of the 7th. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Your score, Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 3. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. Seventh inning stretch is in the books. The Bisons are going to send up Maddox Houghton, Mason Lundgren, and Malik Williams to face Dylan Hathcock, the left-hander who came on in relief in the bottom of the 6th. He got John Shields to pop out, and so he's back out there now for his second inning on the mound. Maddox has struck out, and singled on the day. And he starts him off with a fastball that runs away. 1 ball and no strikes. 5-3, Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb. Bottom of the 7th inning, third game between these two teams of a weekend series to start ASUN conference play. That's hit hard on the ground. Great play by Norton. He gets to his feet, throws to first, and Strachan is able to hold his footing. So nice play there. Again, we've seen really solid defense all weekend long from these Gamecock infielders, with Norton at third, Alexander at short, and Frederick at second. Norton just a freshman. The other two are seniors, but they've done a terrific job, and Houghton is retired for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Mason Lundgren. Lundgren has struck out, lined out, and walked on the day, so 0 for 2. Get you a couple updated scores from March Madness if you're curious what's happening there, if you're listening to us and wondering about that tournament. First, the pitch to Lundgren. He fouls it back to the screen. So earlier in action today, Houston defeated Illinois 68-53. And at halftime, Villanova is leading Ohio State 39-28. Lots of games later on in the day, all the way till an 8:40 p.m. Central Time finish. So still lots of games to go today. That's a curveball in there for strike 2. And so Hathcock has gotten ahead of Lundgren. No balls and 2 strikes. And again, consistent performance over the weekend from this Gamecock pitching staff. Really pounding the zone. Not surrendering a lot of walks. Here comes the 0-2. Swings through the fastball there, strike 3. So it looks like he fooled him, and that was a swinging strike 3. That'll be the first strikeout of the day for Hathcock. 4 strikeouts overall for the Gamecocks pitching staff, and Malik Williams stands in there. He's had a couple base hits, and he did strike out in his last at-bat. Again, Malik came in batting .370 on the season, so he's added to that total with his work today, and he swings through that. Looks like an off-speed pitch, 0-1. We'll get you caught up on some area scores as well as ASUN conference scores in our next inning. And as we head to the 8th, that's fastball that'll miss way outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. No real activity in either bullpen right now. Again, Hathcock did pitch in yesterday's game, went 1 2/3 innings, but only threw 18 pitches, so he's bouncing back on essentially no rest, and that's a curveball that's going to stay outside. It'll be 2 balls and 1 strike to Malik Williams. Trace Wilhoit waits on deck if Malik can extend the inning here. That's a really nice, looks like a changeup that got in there for a called strike 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Do see now Trey Nordman starting to stretch a little bit in the Bison's bullpen. Comes the pitch to Williams, and he's going to have a base hit. He hits that right through the shift, so that's where the shift hurt the Gamecocks. Second baseman Frederick was swung over to the third base side of second, and Malik Williams, again, we talked about that in the last at-bat. He's really matured as a 2-strike hitter, and he hits that one through that vacated spot for a base hit with 2 outs. That'll be the 11th hit of the day for the Bisons, and so with 2 outs, Trace Wilhoit's going to come up there. Wilhoit has grounded out twice and singled. Does have 3 homers on the season, one of which was a solo shot in yesterday's game. And he checks his swing but can't hold up on what looked like a changeup there. No balls, 1 strike against Wilhoit. Rudy Maxwell waiting on deck. There's 2 outs, and Malik Williams is your runner at first base. We're playing in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 5-3. That's off the plate with a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Looks to me from up here that Hathcock may be losing just a little bit off the fastball. He still has a good feel for the breaking ball, but the fastball doesn't look quite as sharp as it did when he first came out. Again, he's pitching back-to-back days here. Here comes a 1-1, and that's hammered through the gap between short and third for a base hit. And that looked like a fastball that hung in the middle of the plate. And Trace Wilhoit will be aboard as Malik Williams will head to second. Second hit of the inning and 12th hit overall for the Bisons, and Rudy Maxwell will come in, and Rudy is having himself a day. He's 3 for 3, a double and 2 singles. He scored a couple of times as well. Again, we're now seeing significant more activity. There are a couple of right-handers throwing in the bullpen for Jacksonville State. Hathcock now at 15 pitches in this appearance today. So 2 outs, Malik Williams running at second, Trace Wilhoit running at first, and Rudy Maxwell with a chance to get the Bisons right back in this one. Swung on and hit in the air towards right field. Going back is Crow, still going back. He's up at the wall, and he's going to glove it right there. Just off the 375-foot sign, so Maxwell hit it well. But he will be retired for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Bisons are going to strand 2 more runners. That's 9 runners that they've stranded through the 7 innings that we have in the books. And we head to the 8th inning. Your score, Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 3. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Noah Thompson back out to the mound for the Bisons. We head to the top of the 8th. He worked a 1-2-3 inning in the 7th, and he'll face the heart of the order, 2-3-4 for the Gamecocks here in the 8th with T.J. Reeves, Carson Crow, and Alex Carrignon. 5 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Jacksonville State. 3 runs, 12 hits, and 2 errors for the Bisons. But the Bisons, again, lacking in those key hits with runners in scoring position, and that's why they find themselves down 5-3 here in this 3rd game of the 3-game series. So Reeves stands in there to open things up. Swings through a curveball, 0-1. Reeves a little bit quieter today than he has been this series. He singled back in the 1st, hit into a fielder's choice in the 3rd, and then grounded out in the 5th. So he looks at a ball downstairs. He's had 2 hits in both Friday and Saturday's game, so the Bisons would consider it a victory to keep him to only 1 hit here today. He's had a terrific weekend. T.J. Reeves, the center fielder, and he swings through that off-speed pitch. Just about came out of his shoes. 1 ball and 2 strikes. These Gamecock hitters do not get cheated on their swings. When they decide to pull the trigger, there's some powerful swings there. But it's 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Thompson will throw a fastball away, and it'll be 2-2. Bison shifted over. You can see Stamps, the second baseman, is toward the third base side of the bag. Catch up deep in the hole and short. Will Hoyt back behind the bag. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. It's a curveball that'll stay high, and that'll run the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the 8th, Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 3, and he swings and fouls that one back. The count will remain 3-2. We'll check your area and ASUN scoreboard here this half inning. And some area action. Old Dominion leading Middle Tennessee 5-2, top of the 7th. St. Louis has pulled ahead of Austin Peay 5-4 in the top of the 7th, and Wofford is leading Belmont 6-1 in the 5th. Swung on and hit towards center field, and that's going to be down for a base hit. And just like that, T.J. Reeves with his 3rd consecutive 2-hit game of the weekend. 6 hits on the day for the Gamecocks, and Carson Crowe will stand in there. Crowe has a 3-run homer that's really the difference in the game right now. He hit that back in the 3rd inning. He's also flied out and struck out, but his big blow in the 3rd was really the difference in the ball game right now. He jumped on a changeup that he saw on an 0-1 count from Ike Buxton. Shows bunt, pulls off, fastball misses away. 1 ball, no strikes. Reeves again 4 for 7 on the base paths with stolen bases this year. The Bisons did throw him out on Friday. He was 1 for 2. Did not attempt a stolen base in yesterday's activity. Will Hoyt's a step or 2 in front of the bag at 3rd. And they'll throw back to 1st. And again, good move by Thompson. He really has that hesitation move, and he froze Reeves for a second, but Reeves is able to get back. Trey Nordman is throwing in the Bison's bullpen. Has not thrown this weekend, so you'd have to think that if the situation were to lend itself, that he might see action here. So 1 ball, no strikes to Crowe. They're again going to go to 1st. Shortstop Ketchup is swung up the middle. He's only a couple steps off the bag. Stamps deep in the hole on the right side. Of course, Williams holding the runner on at 1st. That's a fastball. Going to get the call in the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Right fielder John Shields is quite deep out there. He remembers the ball in the 3rd inning that Crowe hit that got over it in a hurry. So showing some respect for the pull side power of Crowe. And again, off to a slow start on the season, but he's not hitting in the 3-hole by accident, I'm sure. Throw's going to go again to 1st. It'll be a ball and a strike, and no one out, and we resume play. Again, Coach Jim Case, in his 21st season at Jacksonville State, has had quite a run of success. He's won more than 30 games every season, but 2 seasons that he's been there. In 2019, they went to the NCAA tournament. Here comes the pitch. That's hammered way out of here. Fastball that he jumped all over, but he was in front of it and hit it foul. And the count will be 1-2. So last year, Gamecocks finished 26-27. They were 16-14 in the OVC, but didn't make the conference tournament for the first and only time in all the years that Coach Case has been there, as they lost a tiebreaker and did not reach the tournament. Other than that, they've been in the OVC tournament every year. He was the OVC Coach of the Year in 2008 and in 2019. That's going to miss high, and that'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Carson Crowe. So Coach Case, 623 wins at Jacksonville State overall against 511 defeats. Long stretch of success with this Jacksonville State program. Throw will go to 1st. And once again, T.J. Reeves is going to get back. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. We're playing in the top of the 8th. Jacksonville State is leading Lipscomb 5-3. And he got him on an off-speed pitch. Great pitch there by Noah Thompson. 2nd strikeout of the day. Really pulled the string. That looked like a changeup, and he got him to bite for it. So big strikeout there of the dangerous Crow, and that brings up Carrignon. Carrignon has struck out, grounded out, and flied out, so 0 for 3 on the day. Just 1 for 11 on the weekend as Carrignon comes in just batting 171 on the season. And again, they're still worried about Reeves. They're going to chase him back over there. So 16 30-plus win seasons under Coach Jim Case. They won 39 games back in 2019 when they went to the NCAA Regional. Again, the throw to first. They won 22 conference games in 2019. Finished in the top 3 in the OVC 13 out of the last 18 years. They had 4 players on the all-OVC team last year. Carrignon was one of those, along with Alex Webb, Corley Woods, and Christian Edwards. Runners going, pitch is high, throw to second, and it's going to get past Stamps and might have hurt himself there. He dove to try to grab that one. I believe Reeves was going to be safe either way, and Stamps is still down on the ground. So it was an off-speed pitch, tough pitch to handle. Stamps came off the bag trying to field it, and looks like he got some contact on the right arm, but he's going to be lifted to his feet by his teammates, and he's going to try to shake that one off. Tough young man is Ethan Stamps. So it's going to be a stolen base for TJ Reeves. That'll be his 5th stolen base on the season out of 8 attempts now. It counts 1 ball and no strikes on Carrignon. So all those throws to first base, and Reeves still able to steal second. Again, he's a good base runner, just a good baseball player all around. He's played well defensively. Certainly he's hit the ball well and showed good speed on the base path. Here comes the 1-0. It's a big looping curveball that'll stay high. 2 balls and no strikes. Strachan waits on deck. Gamecocks would love to extend this lead here as they've led all the way, or correction, Lipscomb took a 1-0 lead, but Jacksonville State came back with 3 the next inning in the 3rd and have led since then, and that's nubbed on the ground to the right side. It's going to be picked up by Stamps and thrown to first, and they'll retire Carrignon for the 2nd out of the inning. So soft contact there. Reeves will sprint over to third base, and with 2 outs and a runner at third, it'll be Strachan. Strachan has walked, grounded out, and flied out on the day, 0 for 2. Came in batting .215. Tied for the club lead, though, with 3 home runs. So he'll be out with 2 outs and a runner at third base. And they're going to call time and go out and probably chat about signs here. Again, Nordman has been loosening in the Bison's bullpen. During the Mountain Conference, we'll go back to the scoreboard in area action. Western Carolina leading Tennessee Martin 7-5, and Tennessee's beaten South Carolina 10-0. So the 7th-ranked Vols sweep that weekend series. Lipscomb will be playing over at Tennessee on April the 5th as they end that 9 games away from Dugan Field. Turning to the ASUN scoreboard, Florida Gulf Coast leading Stetson 6-2 in the bottom of the 9th. Kennesaw State has beaten Jacksonville 5-3. Central Arkansas has beaten Bellarmine 10-6. North Alabama beat Eastern Kentucky 10-1 today, and Liberty is leading North Florida 7-5 in the top of the 9th inning. So that catches you up on your scores around the conference and around the area. Alex Strachan standing in there with 2 outs. TJ Reeves, your runner at third, and Noah Thompson trying to escape any further damage here in the top half of the 8th inning as Lipscomb trails Jacksonville State 5-3, and that's a ball on the outside edge. That's a strike, 0-1. Brennan Norton would be next if Strachan can extend this inning. Here's the 0-1. Fastball misses outside. That'll be a ball and a strike. Thompson up to 29 pitches here through the inning and 2/3. 6 hits on the day for the Gamecocks, 12 for the Bisons, but the Gamecocks have made theirs count, including that 3-run home run off the bat of Crow earlier. And there's a breaking ball that gets in there for a strike, 1-2. Don't know if you could see in your screen, but Reeves was faking as if he was going to try to steal home there. He took off and started down the base path as Thompson was holding it. But again, a little bit less distracting since Thompson is a lefty and has his back turned to him. But he's trying to do something to make him flinch and potentially commit a balk there. Here comes the 1-2 from Noah Thompson. And he swings through an off-speed pitch, strike 3. Noah Thompson with an outstanding outing. That's his third strikeout here in 2 innings, and he keeps the score right where it is, which is his job. So there are no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. They've only stranded 3 on the day, have the Gamecocks, and that's part of the reason they're leading 5-3 over Lipscomb as we head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. Dylan Hathcock is back on the mound for the Gamecocks. He's worked an inning in the 3rd, given up 2 hits but no runs. Hasn't walked anyone and struck out 1. And the Bisons, 6 more outs to try to do something and avoid being swept here on the opening weekend of conference play. They're going to send up 7, 8, and 9. Stamps, Bertolani, and Ketchup. And Stamps is taking his time getting his bat prepared in the on-deck circle. It looks like he's ready now, so he'll stroll up there. Ethan on the day has got a single. He's also driven in a run on a sacrifice fly, and then last time he hit one off the end of the bat to first base. So 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI. Came in hitting .304, 2 homers and 8 RBIs on the season. And he swings to an off-speed pitch there, 0-1. Again, Bisons will be on the road at Louisville on Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central start, 3 on the road at Central Arkansas next weekend, and the Tuesday the 29th annual game at First Horizon Park against Vanderbilt. That's in there for a strike, 0-2. That game is a 6:30 p.m. start, Lipscomb and Vanderbilt on Tuesday, March 29th. Bisons are then on the road for 3 at Bellarmine on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, April 1, 2, 3. That'll miss way outside. And then on the road at 7th-ranked Tennessee. So next home action here at Dugan Field will not be until Friday, April the 8th. So longest stretch of the season on the road for Lipscomb after today's action. That's hit in the air towards right center field. Crow's going back, still going back. He's going to catch it in the power alley in right center field. So once again, Stamps hit it well, but he'll be retired for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Chaz Bertolani. Chaz singled and drove in a run in his last at-bat. He's grounded out and flied out as well. 1 for 3 on the day. So Stamps continues to hit the ball hard, but again, good defensive outfielders. We've seen Mainers in left, Reeves in center, and Crow in right all make solid plays in the outfield. And any of these balls that have hung up have generally been handled by that crew. They've done an excellent job all weekend. Here comes the pitch to Bertolani. That's going to miss downstairs for ball 1. Jacksonville State, on the other hand, after this activity, will go home and host Samford on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Then they're on the road at Mercer on Wednesday. That's popped up on the right side. Second baseman Frederick running over. Crow coming in. He's going to call him off and catch it in right field for the second out of the inning. It'll be up to Caleb Ketchup. Caleb has grounded out twice and singled, 1 for 3 on the day. Jacksonville State will host North Alabama next weekend. 6 p.m. games on Friday, Saturday, 1 p.m. on Sunday, and then they travel and play at Auburn on the 29th. And then they'll host Eastern Kentucky in their first weekend of April. So 2 straight home series for the Gamecocks, and the Bisons will be on the road for their corresponding series. And that one must have missed low. It was like a breaking ball to Ketchup. 1 ball, no strikes. Swings and hits this one high in the air towards center field. Reeves is going back, still going back towards the warning track, and he will catch it there. So once again, Ketchup gave that a ride, but Reeves is able to track it down. And the Bisons are going to be retired 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 8th. We're headed to the 9th inning. Your score, Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 3. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the top of the 9th inning. Pitching change for the Bisons. In will be the sophomore right-hander Trey Nordman. 6'5", 220-pounder out of Lansing, Michigan. Played previously at Howard College, making his 7th appearance on the season. He's got a record of 1 win, no loss, 5.06 ERA. He's got 2 saves on the season. He's worked 5 1/3 innings, given up 1 hit, 3 runs, 3 earned, 9 walks, and 11 strikeouts. Opponents batting just .063 against Nordman. He's a hard-throwing righty. Run his fastball up there in the mid-90s with a slider as well. And so he'll face 6, 7, and 8, Norton, Bryan, and Mainers, as Jacksonville State is leading Lipscomb 5-3 here in the top of the 9th inning. So Nordman on as the 3rd pitcher of the day, and he starts him off with a strike through there, 0-1. Ike Buxton started and went the first 6. Noah Thompson pitched the 7th and 8. Was very effective, hanging up a couple of zeros, and they'll turn it over now to Nordman to try to bring this one home. That's a slider that he swings through, 0-2. So no balls, 2 strikes on Norton. Norton's grounded into a double play, been hit by a pitch and flown out on the day. Came in batting .279 on the season. Slider's going to miss off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bisons have out-hit the Gamecocks 12-6. But again, with runners in scoring position, 2 for 7 for Jacksonville State, 2 for 12 for the Bisons, and that's your difference in the game. Here comes the 1-2. Swung and missed the slider way outside. Strike 3. First out of the inning, and that'll bring up Brooks Bryan. Bryan has singled, struck out, and been hit by a pitch. Did score a run in that 4th inning when Buxton hit back-to-back batters, and then Alexander delivered a 2 RBI base hit. So Bryan 1 for 2 on the day, seeing his first action of the weekend. Did come in as a defensive replacement in Friday's game. Didn't have an at-bat. That slider's going to bounce up there. It'll be 1 ball, no strikes. comes the 1-0. That's a fastball that'll stay high. It'll be 2 balls and no strikes. So for the Bisons, Buxton started, went the first 6. Pitched effectively, gave up 5 hits, ended up charged with 5 runs, all earned, walked 2, struck out 4, and then Noah Thompson goes 2 innings, gives up 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts for Noah Thompson. So solid pitching all around, and particularly effective pitching by Thompson out of the bullpen. That's a slider that'll stay high, and it's now 3-0 for Brian, and that's kind of been the bugaboo for Nordman. He has great stuff, but sometimes tough to find the zone, and he's behind Brian 3-0. Mainers waits on deck. Almost hit him with that fastball. That's ball 4. So Brian will jog down to first base, and that'll bring up Mason Mainers. Mainers has struck out, walked, and put down a sacrifice bunt. So 0 for 1 on the day is Mason Mainers. Came in batting .250 on the season. Walked and was picked off back in the 7th inning by Noah Thompson. Had a leadoff walk and a terrific pickoff move from Thompson. He really froze Mainers, who was frustrated with himself. That's going to be a breaking ball outside for ball 1. Brooks Bryan, who's running at first base, does not have a stolen base attempt on the season. He is a catcher, and we don't want to be stereotypical, but they often are not base stealers, shall we say. That's a slider that's going to be on the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Defensively for the Bisons, same lineup that started. Maxwell in left, Houghton in center, Shields in right, Will Hoyt's at third, Ketchup at shortstop, Stamps at second, Malik Williams at first, Chaz Bertolani's gone all the way behind the plate, and Trey Nordman on the mound, and that's a slider that'll bounce up there. 2 balls and 1 strike. Nordman's last action was at Georgia last Sunday. Worked an inning, had 3 strikeouts. Here comes the 2-1. Runner going, pitches downstairs. Bertolani's throw is not in time. So that was ball 3, like a fastball. Bertolani dug it out of the dirt, did a good job to turn it around, but Brooks Bryan heard my comments about catchers and running and said, Mr. Announcer Man, I'll show you how catchers run. And so he swipes a bag at second. So tip of the cap to Mr. Bryan. He did have a good jump there. And Bertolani did a nice job handling the pitch, but he steals a base. So he's in scoring position with 1 out. It's a 3 ball, 1 strike count now on Mason Mainers. A couple of guys throwing in the Bison's bullpen. Looks like the right-hander Matthew Maldonado is one of them. I can't make out the other one. Checks his swing. Did he go? And they're going to say he did not. And that is going to be back-to-back walks for Trey Nordman. That was a breaking ball that was down in the dirt. So back-to-back walks. That'll put Bryan at second and Mainers at first. And Alexander will stand in. Alexander has singled twice, driven in a couple of runs, and struck out. So 2 for 3 on the day with a couple RBIs, and he bats now with runners at first and second and 1 out, top of the 9th. Jacksonville State is leading Lipscomb 5-3, and they're threatening again here in the top of the 9th inning. That's a slider in there for a strike, 0-1. Jacksonville State scored 2 in the 9th on Friday, and they did not score in yesterday's game, but these Gamecocks have persistently been grinding out at bats and putting offensive pressure on. That's hit foul. I think it's going to make the seats. It's heading back towards the screen, and it will indeed get on top of the Gamecocks dugout. That was a slider that he reached for, so the count will be no balls and 2 strikes on Isaac Alexander. Maldonado is throwing in the pin. Bisons have another lefty throwing, and I can't make out a number from here. So no balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Brooks Bryan, your runner at second. Mason Mainers running at first. Both of them are on via the walk, and Isaac Alexander awaits an 0-2 pitch from Trey Nordman. And call strike 3, froze him with a fastball. Second strikeout of the inning for Nordman, so 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, and we're to the top of the order, and Cole Frederick. Frederick has grounded out twice. He's walked. Actually, he's grounded out 3 times and walked, so he's 0 for 3 on the day. Been on base once via the walk. That's after he went 4 for 8 in the first 2 games of the series, so he's had a good series overall, but a little tougher time today. He'll bat with 2 outs and 2 on here in the top of the 9th. Starts him off with a slider, and that'll bounce up there. It'll be 1 ball, no strikes. Bisons will pay a visit back to Jacksonville State. They'll go for their first visit ever on April 22nd through 24th. Rudy Abbott Field at Jim Case Stadium. The stadium named in honor of Coach Case there. So that'll be April 22nd through 24th, a 3-game series between these same two teams. Here comes the 1-0. Swings and taps that down the third baseline, foul. That'll leave in the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike, the count. As Nordman tries to hold this one right here and give the Bisons a chance for one last rally in the bottom of the 9th. Leadoff batter Cole Frederick looks at a pitch. Ooh, just off the plate. That was a tough call there. Didn't get it, though. It was 2 balls and 1 strike now, like a slider that he threw. So 2 balls, 1 strike. Stamp shifted up the middle a little bit. Swung through the slider there. And that'll make it 2-2. So a few more breaking balls than we've typically seen from Nordman today. He's staying with a little bit of heavier breaking ball diet. And again, he's struck out 2 and walked 2 in this inning. And he's got a 2-2 count on Cole Frederick. Again, Brian, your runner at second, and Mainers, your runner at first. And he swings and hits this one down the left field line. It's going towards the line. It's going to drop in for a base hit. They're going to wave Brian around, and going to third and sliding in is going to be Mainers. And Jacksonville State has taken a 6-3 lead on the double off the bat of Cole Frederick. Good piece of hitting there for Frederick. He didn't try to do too much with that. Just got enough of it to muscle it out into left field, and that'll be the 7th base hit on the day, and the Gamecocks will have runners at second and third now. Mainers gets to third. Frederick will get to second. As the throw came into third, Mainers slid in there. So Frederick won that battle, and the Gamecocks now lead 6-3, and TJ Reeves stands in. And again, you know what Mr. Reeves has done. If you've been following this weekend, he's got 2 more base hits today. He's also grounded out and hit into a fielder's choice. Tries to check his swing on a slider and cannot. And that'll be strike 1. Reeves has really given fits to the Bison's pitchers this weekend. 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs on Friday, 2 for 3 and a couple RBIs on Saturday, and 2 more base hits today. So TJ Reeves is not going to want to get on the bus. He's going to want to stay here in Nashville and play a few more games. He's seen the ball well here. He swings to a slider there, and it's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Runners second and third with 2 outs, 1 run in here in the top of the 9th inning as Jacksonville State has extended their lead over Lipscomb to 6-3. And Trey Nordman would like to get out of it right here. And I believe he hit him. He did. So Reeves will go down to first base. That'll load the bases now for Carson Crowe. And Crowe has had the biggest hit of the day in the game. He hit a 3-run home run in the 3rd inning. He has also struck out twice and flied out. But he is a big, powerful youngster who showed some juice in the bat. He was sitting on a changeup back in the 3rd inning, and he hit it way out of here in right field. So power on power here. The hard-throwing Nordman gets set to pitch with the bases loaded to Carson Crowe. And it's a fastball. It's going to get away from Bertolani, but not far enough for the runners to advance. So 1 ball, no strikes. I think Crowe and joined me in being surprised. I thought we'd probably see that slider as a first pitch there, and he was fooled by that fastball, but it missed downstairs. So 1 ball, no strikes, no place to put him. Bases are full of Gamecocks here in the top of the 9th inning. That's a slider that'll catch the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. A lot of stretching going on, but no one really throwing down in the Lipscomb pen at the moment. This is Nordman's game to finish, it appears. Here comes the 1-1 slider, and that'll catch the outside corner for strike 2. So he went inside, he went outside. No balls, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner second and third, top of the 9th. Checked to swing, and that slider missed downstairs, 2-2. So we went inside, outside. That was kind of in the middle of the plate. but he didn't offer at it, and Crow will stay alive with a 2-2 count. So Maynard's your runner at third, Frederick your runner at second, and Reeves your runner at first, and Carson Crow is facing Trey Nordman, and here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and tapped towards short. Ketchup is going to glove it. Takes a couple steps, throws to first, and they're going to say that Malik Williams stayed on the bag. So good stretch there by Malik Williams to avoid further damage in the inning as they retire Crow on the 6-3 ground out. But the Gamecocks will put up another run on another hit. They will strand 3 runners in that inning. They've stranded 6 throughout the first 9, and we head for the last chance for the Bisons. We head to the bottom of the 9th. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 3. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Last chance for the Bisons as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning, trailing Jacksonville State 6-3. Top of the order, John Shields, Maddox Houghton, and Mason Lundgren to face Dylan Hathcock. Hathcock has pitched 2 1/3 innings, given up 2 hits but no runs, hasn't walked anybody, has struck out 1, 24 pitches. We mentioned that he pitched yesterday. He pitched an inning and 2/3 yesterday through 18 pitches, so I would suspect that this could be his last batter. The lefty-on-lefty matchup with Shields as the righty Houghton to follow, and then there is another lefty Lundgren, so we'll see how they elect to play it. But last chance for the Bisons, and he starts him off with a breaking ball that he hammers foul. John's had a quiet day today. He's grounded out, flied out, lined out to center field, and hit into a fielder's choice back in the 3rd inning. First baseman Strachan really guarding the line as you'd expect. Second baseman Frederick a step or 2 back on the outfield grass. Here comes the 0-1, and he swings and hits this one foul as well, 0-2. So really deceptive motion from Hathcock. He kind of comes at you with some angle and has really been able to create some deception with different speeds that he's throwing out there. So again, tip your cap. These Gamecock pitchers have done an excellent job all weekend. Here comes the 0-2, and he's going to get him on strike 3. So Shields will go down on strikes. That'll be the first out of the inning, and Maddox Houghton will stand in there. Maddox has had a base hit back in the 5th. He's also flied out, struck out, and grounded out. 1 for 4 on the day. Came in batting at .323 on the season, and as we suspected, I think this might be it for Hathcock. He's done a terrific job with 2 2/3 innings of scoreless relief. So again, strong bullpen work all weekend really for this Gamecocks pitching staff. They did not allow any runs in yesterday's game as their bullpen came in and worked the final 5 innings, and likewise they worked the final 3 innings on Friday, not giving up any runs. So we'll step aside with the pitching change. We'll tell you about it when we come back. Playing in the bottom of the 9th inning, your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 3. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. New pitcher out there for the Gamecocks is the right-hander freshman A.J. Causey, 6'3", 190-pounder out of Harvest, Alabama. Went to Sparkman High School, rather. Causey is making his 9th appearance on the season. He's worked 12 2/3 innings, got an 0-2 record, a 2.13 ERA, but he pitched yesterday and pitched very effectively, 2 1/3 innings, didn't give up a hit or a run, and struck out 2. And they're going to ask him to finish it today. He starts Maddox Houghton with a fastball inside. Causey with a low 3/4 or sidearm delivery, but really runs it to both sides of the plate. Usually you see these sidearmers work only away, just like that fastball there, but he ran it in both sides yesterday, showed an excellent slider as well. So he was very tough on these hitters. And Coach Case will have a chance to, or ask him rather, to close this thing out today as Jacksonville State leads 6-3 with 1 out in the 9th. There's a slider that's hit off the end of the bat, and it'll be caught by Frederick for the 2nd out of the inning. So the Bisons are down to their final out here, and that'll be in the person of Mason Lundgren. Mason has struck out twice, walked, and lined out to left field on the day. Though he's 0 for 3, did come in as the leading hitter at .375 on the season. And he is the last hope for the Bisons as they try to avoid being swept here this weekend by these Jacksonville State University Gamecocks. Causey throws a pitch that misses high for ball 1. Malik Williams waits on deck and would be next for the Bisons. That one misses just off the corner as a slider. It's 2-0. Again, Causey, a true freshman, so he's already pitched in a lot of big spots this season. As we mentioned, his 9th appearance, and so young man with a very bright future ahead of him. That's a fastball that's going to catch the inside corner, and it'll be 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 count, 2 outs, bases empty. Bottom of the 9th inning, and Lipscomb trailing 6-3 to Jacksonville State. That one's going to catch the outside corner. Nice pitch there, 2-2. So the Bisons now down to their final strike. And Lundgren will try to keep this thing alive against A.J. Causey. Check to swing, and that just missed inside. That was a terrific pitch, but he didn't get the call. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Two outs, bases empty. Here comes the payoff. Swung on and hit high in the air towards left center field. Mainers is coming in. He's going to get called off by the center fielder Reeves, and that is going to be your ball game. Jacksonville State is going to come into Ken Dugan Field and sweep the Bisons. In 3 straight games, they're going to capture this one 6-3. So terrific job by A.J. Causey, who comes in again and for the 2nd day in a row pitches very, very effectively and closes this one out for the Gamecocks. So your final line score on today's game for the for Jacksonville State: 6 runs on 7 hits. They commit 2 errors. They leave 6 on base. Lipscomb will score 3 runs on 12 hits, 2 errors, and strand 9 runners on base. And I believe that the win will likely go to starting pitcher Camden Loveridge. We'll wait for the official verdict on that, but I believe Loveridge will get the win on the day, and a save should go to Causey. And I think the loss will be absorbed by Bison starting pitcher Ike Buxton. But we'll check the official scoring on that as we move through our broadcast. We'll recap this one for you. Once again, the Bison struck first in the game today. 3rd time this weekend they've done that. They put up a single run in the 2nd inning as Malik Williams had a base hit and Rudy Maxwell had a base hit to follow, and then Ethan Stamps drove in a run with an RBI base hit. That lead was short-lived as back in the 3rd inning, the Gamecocks came right back. Leadoff base hit from Isaac Alexander. Reeves reached on a fielder's choice, and then the big blow of the day, 3-run home run off the bat of Carson Crow, and the Gamecocks were up 3-1. They added 2 more in the 4th, a couple of hit batters, sacrifice bunt from Mainers, and then a 2 RBI base hit off the bat of Isaac Alexander. That made it 5-1. Bisons added 1 back in the 4th. Leadoff base hit from Malik Williams. Trace Wilhoit singled. Rudy Maxwell singled, and the bases were loaded, and Ethan Stamps had a sacrifice fly. But starting pitcher Camden Loveridge came back to get a fly ball out and a ground ball out, and the Bisons could only score 1 in that inning. Bisons would add a run back in the 6th, Leadoff double from Rudy Maxwell and an RBI base hit from Chaz Bertolani. And then Jacksonville State picked up the final run of the day in the top of the 9th inning. They had back-to-back walks and a double off the bat of Cole Frederick to drive in the final run of the game. Bisons couldn't get anything going in the 9th inning as they were retired 1-2-3. Hathcock getting the first out and A.J. Causey coming in to get the save on the day. So our time of the game will be 2 hours and 49 minutes. And we'll remind you fans that the Bison's next action will be on Tuesday, the 22nd of March, when the Bisons will travel up the road to Louisville. That's a 5 p.m. Central start time. Again, 5 p.m. Central, the Bisons playing at Louisville. Broadcast information will be available at lipscombsports.com. Our next telecast for Lipscomb Bisons baseball won't be from Dugan Field all the way until Friday, April the 8th. Friday, April the 8th, the Bisons will be hosting Eastern Kentucky. They've got 9 straight games away from Dugan Field. And that'll include the March 29th game annually against Vanderbilt. It'll be down at First Horizon Park, downtown Nashville. That one will be at 6:30 p.m. They have indeed given Camden Loveridge the win for the day. He'll be 1-0 on the season. Ike Buxton will get the loss, and he'll go to 1-2. Our special thanks today to Lipscomb Athletic Director Philip Hutchison, to Associate Athletic Director for External Relations Brent McMillan, the Assistant Athletic Director for Communications Kirk Downs, and the Assistant Director for Athletic Communications Hannah Jo Riley. On behalf of our entire crew today, this is Doc Allen saying thanks for your time this time, and until next time, so long. You've been watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball.